What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day of the Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we got a couple different things. We're going to be talking about PlayStation will eventually abandon console exclusives and follow Xbox strategy, Moon Studios CEO believes. So we'll go over that from WCCF Tech. We're going to also talk about Ubisoft shuts down its studio in Leamington, fires 185 employees, so we'll talk about that. We're also going to talk about Dauntless developer Phoenix Labs lays off 50-plus more employees with studio likely to close. If you guys don't know Phoenix Labs, they're the ones that make Dauntless and stuff. We're also going to talk about... we're going to watch Destin Laguerre's video where he interviews Phil Spencer. Talks about the Xbox CEO on the future of Xbox and the most played games are on any screen. So if you like what we do here, and we're gonna watch the review of Orcs Must Die. It's a new one that just came out on Game Pass today. We'll watch that review as well. If you guys like what we do here, we do this Monday through Thursday. We just have conversations, bring up news articles, go back and forth with you guys. Appreciate it very much if you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do appreciate you. If you're watching over on Twitter or X, whichever way you want to call it, welcome. You guys don't have to chat at all in any way, shape, or form. Just enjoy the show. If you want to come over to our YouTube channel, hit that thumbs up. It helps us out. We're a very small channel, like to grow. So if you like it, let people know. All right. What's going on, chat? What's going on? Argus, Big Mo, Roadkill, Wonder Rose, good morning, Hilly, Eclipse. Who else am I missing? Magic Dolphin, Kylo, Roic, good morning, good morning. What's going on, Travis? What's going on, Sarge? All right, so let's start off with the bad news first, huh? Start off with the bad news first. We're going to start off with the Phoenix Labs. Dauntless developer Phoenix Labs lays off 50-plus more employees with the studio likely to close. If you guys don't know, a couple months ago, I guess, we talked about how Dauntless changed up the entire game of what it was. If anyone played Dauntless before, you got to earn all the stuff. It was like Monster Hunter Light, basically. I thought it was a great game. Dauntless, I thought, was much more casual than like a Monster Hunter. You go around, slaughter monsters, get the the bits and pieces from them, make your gear, weapons, armor, so on and so forth. It was a free-to-play game. It made its money through microtransactions, through like season passes and whatnot. And then dramatically, they changed the entire landscape of the game, where I had hundreds of hours in the game and had so many weapons and so many pieces of armor. You still have the armor, but they got rid of the weapons and they condensed it down to certain weapons. Okay. And they basically cashed in all of my weapons and gave me a currency, and then I had to take that currency and then buy the weapons. Okay, they fundamentally changed the whole thing. They didn't respect the player's time. They kind of made everything where you have to go back through the tutorial, even though if you've played the game for hundreds of hours. And they basically destroyed what Dauntless was. Now, it seems like they were sabotaging it or whatnot. Well, here's the repercussions from what they've done so far, because now Dauntless developer has laid off 50 employees. So the remainder of Phoenix Labs developers have been laid off, with the studio game Dauntless and its studio likely to close. Okay, imagine having the game where it was working and people liked it, and then completely destroying it and then firing the employees, right? It's mind-boggling. But here we are, again, 2025 now, with studios closing left and right from these awesome upper management teams, right? So speaking with the now past employee at the studio, it's understood that around 50 employees have been made redundant today. It says several of these employees now believe that Dauntless game is now dead. Well, it was dead to me a couple weeks ago because they literally killed it, right? They completely shit on all my time and respected my time. So Phoenix Labs is likely to shut down, although parent company Fort has yet to make such an announcement. According to those familiar with the situation, no one at Phoenix Labs still has a job, with one person saying it was surprising that it was announced as around layoffs instead of a studio closure. Fort, a blockchain company, required Phoenix Labs around summer of 2023, and in May of 2024 made 100 of its staff redundant. So Fort was asked for comment, but they did not supply one in a time of head of publication. Now, following the internal announcement, Phoenix Labs staff took their Dauntless Discord server to make the announcement of the redundancies, and where they said that Earlier today, the majority of the development team was impacted by significant reductions of Phoenix Labs. This has also been a heartbreaking decision for us, and we're also deeply saddened by the talented individuals who are affected. Now, the statements also continue. It says, quote, "We know that you maybe have questions about what it means for Dauntless and its future." Well, it has, in my opinion, you have no future. You destroyed the player base that was already there playing your game. I would dabble in it every once in a while to go back and play the game, but now you completely destroyed it. So now you have to, you made your bed, now lay in it. So while it doesn't have and I'm not talking to the devs, by the way, I'm talking to the owners of the company that decided to change what the fundamental of Dauntless was. Answer at the time, we also committed to keeping you informed and share updates as soon as we can. It says, quote, "Your support means the world to us, and we're truly grateful for this incredible community. Thank you for standing with us during this challenging time," and concluded. Who's talking now, right? Thanks for standing with us for the challenging times. You literally got rid of everybody that works for the studio. There are 0 developers working at the studio. Phoenix Labs has founded in April of 2014, was best known for Fae Farm and also Dauntless, with the company also having had multiple games in development before being canceled by Fort after the studio acquisition. Now, the latest rounds of layoffs puts 2025's count well over 500 known jobs lost, with estimates having over 700. Let us know down below. So, yet another studio, and we have another one this morning. So yet another studio hit by loss. And you got to look at this, right? You have to look at it and say, why? Why sabotage a game that had a player base? I don't want to say successful because they don't really share the numbers, right? Obviously, they made a change, but Fort took over, okay, and made the game into a completely, basically a microtransaction hell. They literally took the weapons from you, stole the weapons, converted it into some currency, and then you had to take that currency to purchase the weapons again. Okay, I had all the weapons. I went to every single boss or animal, right, in the game, earned the actual rewards for that game, and then they completely shit all over that. Now they got rid of the employees, and the employees are, thanks for the support. Like, obviously, the developers are not talking about that because the developers are not even at the company anymore, right? They all got fired. There's nobody working at the Dauntless games, Phoenix Labs. So this is just ridiculous. This is yet another. So we're going to move from this, right? We're going to move from this one to the next one, which is Ubisoft shuts down its studio and fires 185 employees. Now, we had a article that we talked about a couple weeks ago, right? And just a couple days ago, I think we also did, where these studios are shutting down left and right because they feel like we are the problem why it's shutting down because no one's buying the game. Well, no, you're shutting down your studios and getting rid of people because no one's buying the game because you're coming out with a broke, buggy game. Now, if that's because the devs didn't finish the game, or if that's because their upper management told them to cut corners and do whatever, this is the situation that we're in, right? You make a game, you sell a game, we buy the game, we play the game. Okay, that is the hierarchy of how it works. Make a game, sell a game, buy a game, play the game. Okay, and they're not holding up their end of the bargain. So why should we hold up our end of the bargain, right? If you don't make a game, you make an incomplete game and then sell that game for really more expensive prices, right? We actually talked about it yesterday with Legendary Drops video, okay? And then you want us to buy this game at more than full price now, and yet it's incomplete. All right, so the studio previously worked on Star Wars Outlaws, Skull and Bones, and Far Cry 5. The consequences of Ubisoft's numerous failed games controversies of poor management, that's exactly what it is, it's poor management, in 2024 has seamlessly caught up with them. In 2025, the company announced the shutdown of Ubisoft's Leamington, their UK-based studio, required in 2017 from Activision and formerly known as Freestyle Games. According to the reports, Ubisoft Leamington team is around 50 employees and will be disbanded, while other Ubisoft offices in Stockholm and Newcastle, based off Ubisoft's reflections, will be downsized, leading to 185 terminated employees across the offices. As part of Ubisoft, Leamington branch worked on games such as Star Wars Outlaws, Skull and Bones, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, Tom Clancy's Division 2, and Far Cry 5. Now, Outlaws, Skull and Bones, Avatar, Tom Clancy Division 2, you could say, was incomplete, and they kind of fixed it over time. It was a good game. I enjoyed the game, but they were missing things, and they kind of abandoned it and then went back to it. So this was a support studio that helped along with all these games. Now, think about that. There was a main studio, then there was a support studio, and yet Skull and Bones, Outlaws, Avatar all came out incomplete, okay? It says, quote, as part of an ongoing effort to prioritize projects and reduce costs to ensure long-term stability at Ubisoft, we have announced targeted restructuring at Ubisoft, Ubisoft Stockholm and Ubisoft Reflections as a permanent closure of Ubisoft Leamington's site. Ubisoft told Eurogamer, unfortunately, this should impact 185 employees overall, and we're deeply grateful for those contributions and committed to supporting them through this transition. Stop with this legal bullshit talk of corporate speak, okay? You don't care about the 185 employees. If you did, you wouldn't fire them, okay? What you care about is the bottom dollar, and you fucked up, and now you don't, Ubisoft, you don't hold anything responsible. The people that get affected are the employees that made the game for you that you told not to finish the game, basically, right? So earlier was a report of Tencent and Ubisoft founding Guillemot family was considering cutting off part of Ubisoft and leveraging the company's assets to form an entirely new venture. Currently evaluating the assets to include potential new entity of determining whether it's what the value is. And with the company being a shell of its former self, it seems that the Assassin's Creed Shadows recently delayed until March 20th failed there, and also be unfortunate headlines about Ubisoft employees being laid off. Okay, don't forget to join a 80 level talent platform and a new Discord server. So basically, they're firing a bunch of people. They're coming out with a brand new game. So you know what you guys have to do? You got to support the devs. You got to support the devs. You got to go out and pay for this brand new $80 video game, Assassin's Creed Shadows. You got to pay for the $100 extra edition. You got to pay for the $130 extra edition for the game to come out broke, buggy, unfinished, fixed over the next 8 months, so you can support the devs so they can just shit on the devs, right? So just keep that in mind when you purchase a Ubisoft game from here on out in the future. Because regardless if you buy the game, support the game, buy all the microtransactions in the game, the company will take that money, but they will still fire all the employees regardless, because that's the way it works. Okay? These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. What do you think about all these layoffs that are happening? Look, layoffs happen. Layoffs happen, okay? It doesn't matter if you're working in fast food, if you're working for a law firm, if you're working for a game company, if you're working independently, whatever it is, right? There's always people that get fired. Cool, okay? But the fact is that these studios guilt you, right? They want that $100 video game. Remember, they want that $100 video game, okay? But yet they're still going to fire the same people that you think that you're supporting, those people that say, well, I'm supporting the devs. I play a game or buy a game because I think it looks interesting. And then when I keep buying those games, and those games are not complete at launch when they say they're done, you kind of burn the bridge, right? First time, my bad. I didn't want to do that. You know, I'll be like, oh, I didn't know it was going to be broke, right? The second time it happens, you're like, all right, this can't be like this all the time. No, that's exactly what it is, right? The outliers are the games that win the rewards, right? The outliers are the Baldur's Gate 3, are the, Pal Worlds, are the Helldivers, right? Those are the outliers. Everybody else is the norm. The norm is a game comes out, they rushed it out, they sat on them for 3 years, they start working on them on year 4, they push it out in year 6, it's only been worked on for about 18 months, and then they fix it over the next 18 months after it comes out, but they ask you for full price. And this is just the way it works now. And the video that we watched yesterday with Legendary Drops, talking about how all the companies thought that COVID was going to be the norm going forward, right? The COVID point where the profits were skyrocketing, like, this is the new norm. And then reality set back in, right? And they showed that chart yesterday when we were talking about it yesterday. And everybody thought it was going to go skyrocketing even higher, but instead it divoted back to reality, okay? And then this is what you have, right? The delays of the games that came out 2 years later, all the abundance of games that came out in 2023, 2024, okay, and what's coming out in 2025, and yet all of these studios, doesn't matter if it's award-winning, doesn't matter if it's very successful, right? All of these studios are dropping the employees because of bad management, bad companies, bad leadership, because they abused their workers, their worker bees or whatever, and now they're abusing the customers, and if you don't like it, well, they tell you that you're sexist, racist, and misogynistic, and this is why the games don't sell. But these are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. So there's the bad news, chat. Let me see what you guys are saying here in the chat. Good morning. Sarge says the allure of the money on the table is too strong and they can't help it. But instead of the upper management being fired for bad decisions, they fire the devs. Fuck the managers. Okay. What happened when what happened when the term of captains go down with the ship? Right. There's no captains going down with the ship at all in any way, shape, or form. Water Bear says, whoever decided to do this just a couple of months before Monster Hunter Wilds drop is literally suicide. Yeah. What's going on, Robert Jones? Wait, suits ruined the game for the company? Say it ain't so. Eclipse says, I'm pretty sure they were trying to close the company, and this is why they did all this. Yeah, right. Make the problem and then make the solution, right? The solution is, oh, well, the game is bad, so we have to get rid of everybody. No one's playing the game. Well, no one's playing your game because you completely ruined it. Kuda Papa says, I'm so glad I didn't put the time into Dauntless. I don't regret my time in Dauntless. I had enjoyed my time, Kuda Papa, but at the same time, when they said they were doing an update and I went back to check out the update and I lost everything, I was like, what the? Like, I enjoyed my time, but they completely shit on my everything that I've done. Waterbear says, Ubisoft, we knew this was coming. Just wait for until I see Shadows drops 50 cents for the shares. Zinthos says, is that the studio that made Outlaws? No, the studio that made Outlaws, Zinthos, was Massive Entertainment. This was the supporting studio. The supporting studio that helped them make other games such as Avatar, Division 2, all the games that they've come out with, Far Cry, in the last 5 years, they've helped with. So it's a support studio, but it doesn't matter. No one supports them. They're gone. Ron says, we live in a world where BioWare Anthem is alive and well. Yeah, Anthem is still alive. Imagine that. Okuda Papa says, Travis, but you like being taken from you, so you also probably play a game again if you get things. Sarge says the devs pay. Yeah, the devs pay. What's going on, Winzo? Winzo says, morning 30. See, this is why I don't get the people while they try to tell you people or streamers that these games getting bigger aren't sustainable and Microsoft is being the future of the deny. It baffles me. Yeah, it's weird to me. And again, the method that Microsoft does with Game Pass, where they pay the companies up front and they make the money and then they're off to go sell other things. I mean, I guess that's nice. I mean, Microsoft doesn't have their hands cleaned here either, right? They fired and dropped Tango Gameworks from a game that made good money. Now, we don't know the extent of behind the scenes of why they did it, right? It feels like something else is behind the scenes of that, but they still did it. They fired a perfectly good company. Now, obviously, they got sold instead of closed down, but in the beginning, it was they shut it down. Okay, and then they're like, oh no, we sold it off to somebody else. But Microsoft does the same thing. All of these companies do the exact same thing. Make a game, make a half-ass game, sell the game for full price, and then they wonder why it didn't sell well. Right? They're like, oh, I don't understand. The game didn't sell well. We thought it was going to make 10 million copies sold. They're like, yeah, but it was broken buggy when it came out, and it only sold 3 million. People are like, I'll wait till it's complete. And they're like, we'll just close the studio down. Ron Slusher says, we should be able to tip developers. Who said that? Was it Mikey Barra? Was that Mikey Barra that said that? I remember I just watched one of my past broadcasts. I think it was him, if I remember correctly. Sarge says, if the business doesn't make money, people get laid off. Accept it. They don't fire the bad decision makers. No, they keep going up and then bring in new people. Tissue, right? Billy says the pizza they got on their last day doesn't buy itself. Come on, gamers. Buy the next game. Yeah. Well, no, they probably got like Little Caesars pizza where it's like $6, right? Probably like $6 pizza. Travis says, shit, I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3 and we'll be on for years. New games only take away from it. Kurt says a bunch of bigots. That's right. Jax82 says 30. Would it be the best invest into Ubisoft Plus when to buy their games outright and then buy it outright? It seems that they don't care why they get burned. Well, it's funny, Jax, because I didn't buy Star Wars Outlaws, right? The best value when they showed me that chart of this is $70, this is $100, this is $130, or they highlight it in blue and they're like, for $18, you can get all of this, right? That's their business model, right? they don't really care if you buy the game at full price. Game Pass works because Game Pass, they're giving the games, and if you want to buy them, you can. Okay, but it works because it's also on other platforms. So their first party titles that they're putting on other third party platforms, okay, they make money off them. They get 70% of that, and they make the money here as well, recurring. They would rather, right? Ubisoft, EA Play, just like they want you to pay for the Ultimate Teams and all the other stuff that they have for microtransactions, they would rather you get the subscription service, forget to cancel, than buy the game, because the average person only buys 2-3 games a year, 3 games a year, okay? But with the cost rising of video games, that comes less and less, right? If a video game goes to 80 or if it goes to 100, less people are going to buy that. So they're like, well, how do we make more money? Well, if they take the $18 and put it towards that and they get microtransactions on top of that, they're making way more money than they would if they were just buying the game outright. Travis says, 30, breaking news. They said instead of Battle Royale, it's going to be Hardline 2. You're welcome. Yeah, that's not happening. Well, it might be happening, but I'm not jumping into that. Hilly says the companies argue that there's a bunch of racist and sexist, homophobic, but even if that's true, I can't think of any previous game that leans into any of that. Right, or can't lean into that. They should let Anthem 2.0 drop, damn it. Yeah, maybe. Krebsy says, Dauntless NFTs when? I mean, they're probably got rid of all the employees, Krebsy, so they can hire the AI, and the AI will just dish out that stuff, right? They don't even need people anymore, right? Eclipse says, oh, nice. The 33 Immortal Speed Beta is live. Let's go. 33. Oh, that's the other game that they're putting on Game Pass, right, Eclipse? I forget, because there's two. In what world do we have 2 games called 33, right? There's 33 Immortal, and then there's 33, whatever the RTS game. Roku says, they will get rid of a Game Pass in 3 to 5 years if they don't hit their 100 million players. You think, well, that would be really hard to do, Eclipse, because think about this. Or Roadkill, sorry, not Eclipse. Roadkill. Let's say you're correct, right? Let's say in 3 to 5 years, Game Pass just doesn't work anymore, and they have to get rid of it. What do? What does Xbox do? Do they just end it? Like 3 years from now, they're like, oh, we didn't make it. We're canceling it. Where do they go? They're not selling consoles as their primary income anymore. Okay, they're putting all their games on all the other different platforms. What happens? Their whole business model for the last 7 years has been Game Pass, and if it doesn't work in the next 3 years, what happens? They close shop? I don't think they do. They might not make Xbox anymore, but they're going to be I guess you could call them Sega in your world. I think everyone's hitting that 100 million as that's the breaking point. I don't think it is. That's just a goal. Put it in perspective, okay? I would love to hit 10,000 subscribers. But if I don't hit 10,000 subscribers, I'm still streaming. But that's my goal, 10,000 subscribers, right? If I don't hit it, I'm like, oh, well, I got to close shop. No, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. I just missed my goal. And the reason I say that is because Microsoft has got so much income. Did you hear that they might buy TikTok? They might buy TikTok for a cool $100 billion. That's the rumor going around. Eclipse says, yeah, it took developers by buying Wayfinder twice. Gave one of them to my friend. Wayfinder was in that same kind of scenario, right? They were making an MMO with live microtransactions and stuff, and they said, you know what? Let's just make a game. They made a single-player game, co-op game, and they put it out there, and it seems like it's doing very well, and it's coming to Xbox soon. Travis says, I got 4 in March alone. That's amazing for someone that says you have no money. Crazy. Eclipse says, I saw a video on Facebook and someone getting a Little Caesars pizza, and they were mad at it was cut, but the pizza looked like the best damn pizza. I'll be honest. We bought some Little Caesar pizza because when it's the kids' birthdays at the school, you get it delivered. It's actually pretty good. I used to hate it growing up. It's actually pretty good now. Lily says it's best if you subbed by the game full price, buy the battle pass and get yourself a skin. It's so simple. Gamers just don't get it. Yeah, Expedition 33. That's it. You have Expedition 33 and you have 33 Immortals. 2 games with 33 in it. Like, weird. Argus says, also, there are a bunch of racist homophobics in the customer base. And they're obviously who they need to cater to, and they aren't going to be able to switch consumer bases in the space. That's right. That's right. Winzo says, and that's what I mean, 30. If the game's going up, that subscription is going to be in the future. Everyone follows the Game Pass because no one after is going to pay $100 for the base game or more. Right. The higher the price goes, the more people go to GeForce Now, the more people go to Ubisoft Plus, the more people go to EA Play, the more people go to Game Pass, right? Make the problem, sell the solution. The solution's already there. The net is already there. If prices of video games go up, there's a net there. Subscription services are there. Subscription services not going up. Well, how do we get people to get more subscription services? Oh, what about if we raise prices for video games? That's it. Cost goes up. They're like, oh, no. And people will push against it. People will push against it and go, I'm never going to get a subscription service because I want to own my games, right? So you're going to pay a higher tier price. You're going to pay $80. You're going to pay $100 to own your digital game, okay? Where everybody else is like, I don't care anymore. I'm just going to get the subscription service. Much easier. Mo says, I had to get rid of it 3 to 5 or 7 years, just like that. They've been dead for 20 years. Okuda Papa says, Game Pass and Xbox right now is making more revenue than Sony is, just slightly. Right? And they're not selling anything. They're not selling their Xboxes. Right? They're making money off the software. Imagine a studio, or imagine a company, Apple and Microsoft. One makes hardware, one makes software, and yet they're both around the same, right? Where they're making a crap ton of stuff off of hardware, Apple is, and Microsoft is just software. And they're now surpassed Apple, and they're the $1 trillion company. Kyle says, I've never had Little Caesars. Being from Northeast, not eating a local pizza establishment is a crime. I get that. I get that. I say it all the time, Kylo. I say the worst pizza place up north, no matter where you go. You get off the plane, you get out of the taxi, you see a pizza parlor. It might be the worst pizza parlor. You walk in, it's 10 times better than any pizza you'll get down in Florida. By far. They cannot make pizza here because it's the water. The water is so hard here. They have to have like a softener or whatnot. I used to know a local business here. They would literally fly in water, okay, to make their bagels and stuff here. Obviously, it was very it wasn't cost efficient, and they went out of business. But goddamn, those bagels were fantastic. Kuda Papa, that isn't the accurate. Xbox revenue is like 20 billion. PlayStation's revenue is like 28 billion. Is that PlayStation? You guys talk about Xbox, PlayStation, or are you talking about Sony and Microsoft? That's the question I have. Travis says, Florida Pizza sounds like a good country band's name. Kyle says, my family, when they come up to Florida, they live off the pizza the whole time visiting. Yeah, because it's just so much better up there. Do you guys have, because this will go back and forth, right? Because you're saying one thing, Krebsy's saying the other. So do you guys have an article that shows a chart for these things? And then we'll just pull it up. We'll just pull it up on stream. We'll just pull it up on stream. Then it ends the conversation, right? Mo says, what about the profit? Argus says, well, they gotta be talking about Xbox and PlayStation because Sony isn't even on the same graphs as Microsoft. Sony's a small baby. Oh yeah, well yeah, I think Microsoft is what, 1 or 2 in companies, and Sony's like 114th or something like that. Dolphin says, my guilty pleasure is Domino's pan pizza. Domino's pizza? I haven't had Domino's pizza in I don't know how long. Rowick says, New York style pizza is my favorite pizza. Oh, man. We have this brand new pizza place, Rowick, that just opened here. And they have a New York style pizza. They do a Detroit pizza, and they do a Sicilian pizza. It's pretty good for Florida. Okay, it's pretty good for Florida, but it's not. It's still worse than the worst place up north. Nothing beats that New York style, or I shouldn't even say New York style. I should say northeastern pizza. Right, you get those large slices. You can like fold, right? Oil drips off. It's so good, delicious. Okay, here they're like tiny. They don't taste as good. The sauce, the sauce to bread ratio, it's just not good. Not good. I eat it because that's what we have, but I'll take a road trip just to have a slice of pizza up there. Get a pie, eat it as much as I can, so it does filling, and then go back 10 years later. One slice per year. Argus says Sony doesn't even crack the 100 company. Microsoft goes out first place, maintaining the top 3 companies in the world. That's what I said. I think Sony's like 114th or something like that. Nothing beats deep dish. Not a big deep dish guy. Went to Chicago, had the deep dish pizza. Not a fan. Not a fan. World says we get this pizza from this one place that does shawarma pizza. Pretty good. Interesting. Dolphin says you know it's good when you have to use a napkin to soak up the grease. Oh yeah. Yeah. And you can just pour it in a cup. There's so much grease off there. You're in California, right, Mo? You're like up in the San Francisco, Oakland area. We had pizza there when we went on our honeymoon back in 2010. I can't remember the place. It's pretty good out there. Just a quick 40-minute drive. That's when you know when you're driving 40 minutes to get to a pizza place. Winzo says, I love good New York. It's one place I hope to go to sometime. I love in my life. I looked it up, and living in Canada, inflation with our money in the U.S. would be an expensive trip for me. Take a trip. Save up, take a trip. New York is a fantastic place to visit. If you've never been to the city. Ron says Costco pizza is good and reliable. I got food poisoning from Costco pizza one time. I will agree though, Ron. It's satisfying. It's good. It was like raw dough one time they cooked it. Artemis says, get a bread machine, make your own dough. It changes everything. You can make your own bread here. It's still the same water, Artemis. It's something's just not right with the water in Florida. Altern says, rabbit hole. We have gone down the rabbit hole. We're talking about pizza. Oh, where I land, I do not know. But here I fall down the rabbit's hole. We are officially down the rabbit hole. Yeah, we've completely gone off for the topic, and we're talking about pizza, which is fantastic. I know I'm okay about talking about pizza. Kraken says, I want pizza and bagels now. See, Kraken, we didn't make an analogy about food. We're just talking about food. Flip says, I have this Italian pizza place around me. I mean, I guess it's because there's no flavor in the crust. All I don't like that. I like my crust with some sort of flavor. What is it, just like cardboard? There's no flavor? They don't do anything? There's a topic? I thought that we were on the show. Yeah, there's always a topic. Ranting and going down rabbit holes is the show, Travis. Ron says 3-hour food stream has begun. Yeah, let's start taking other topics. What's your favorite type of food? What could you eat every single day? I can eat Mexican food every single day. I know this because I did it when I lived in Texas. Every day, Mexican in some sort of shape or form. Travis says fried chicken. Hilly says a burger. You can eat a burger every day. Like 3 meals a day. Burger, burger, burger. Argus says steak, burgers, and a variation of potatoes. Felix says caramel pudding. Okay. Authentic Mexican food for sure. We have a lot of places over here. There's a family over here that owns 4 different Mexican restaurants, okay, and a bakery. So five complete different things. They have a fast food Mexican restaurant. They have a small hole in the wall Mexican restaurant that does a lot of like they do a lot of fruits and stuff as well. Then they have a full blown restaurant that's a Mexican restaurant, and every single thing is fantastic. Everything is good. Kurt says crab legs and lobster. That's expensive, Kurt. You could eat crab legs and lobster 3 meals a day for the rest of your life. You would go broke before that. Before that happened, you would go broke. To be fair, though, I didn't say realistically what could you eat for the rest of your life. Man, you guys have expensive taste. Ribeye, mashed potatoes, and veggies. A lot of restaurants by you, nothing authentic. Altern says, just reading that, my wallet went empty. Yeah, seriously. Crab legs and lobster. I remember one time I went to my buddy's restaurant, and I ordered a bowl of mussels, right? I had mussels. I was like, yeah, I'm in the kind of mood for mussels. So I had some mussels. I sat down, didn't look at the price tag. After I was done eating the mussels and a couple of appetizers by myself at the restaurant was like $110. I was like, Jesus Christ. And then I sat there for a second and I looked at the bowl. And I was like, let me finish all that. Like licking the bowl, can I have some bread, soaking the stuff. Like the bowl was cleaner than it was before they put the stuff in the bowl. Can't eat shellfish. My dad can't eat shellfish either. Altern says 110. That's a deluxe edition of Star Wars Outlaws. That's right. That's what I did. I sat at the bowl and I was like 110. I could have got a special edition of Star Wars Outlaws. All right, moving on. Let's talk about PlayStation will eventually abandon console exclusives and follow Xbox strategy, Moon Studios CEO believes. And these titles get longer and longer with these articles. Remember back in the day, it would just be like PlayStation console exclusives ended, or you know what I mean? That's what it would be. PlayStation abandons console exclusives. It'd be like 4 words. Now it's a sentence. Like PlayStation will eventually abandon console exclusives and follow Xbox's strategy, and Moon Studio CEO believes. All right. Good topic. You guys like what I do here? We do this Monday through Thursday. We just cover news stories, have conversations. If you like it, it's just a morning show. Get you through a couple hours every day. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you'd like to go above and beyond that. Become a member as little as $5. All right, so console exclusives will eventually become a thing of the past for PlayStation, as it has with Xbox, due to how consoles and the market as a whole have changed, the Moon Studio CEO believes. Now, obviously, the Moon Studio CEO believes this. This is his opinion. Kind of like his opinion so far because it aligns with my opinion. And I've said for the last couple of years, I said PlayStation will go day and date on PC and console because that's the way the market's going. Okay, it's just what it is. Okay, so in a lengthy post on X, Moon Studio CEO Thomas Mahler talked about Xbox's current approach, saying that it is the right one for several reasons. A few years back, the studio decided not to make No Rest for the Wicked under Microsoft because it would have prevented the game from being released on PlayStation consoles and Nintendo Switch. It would have impacted the game considerably, as the studio felt that multiplayer and crossplay are an important part of experience. I want you to listen to that again, okay? Because a lot of people make fun of Microsoft because they didn't make Spider-Man. They didn't do certain things, right? And they didn't want to do No Rest for the Wicked, decide to make it because they didn't want to put it under Microsoft because that would have prevented back in the day when they were making it, and Microsoft has completely changed, that it would only be for Microsoft, and they wanted that game to go out to multiple platforms. Okay. So they didn't get it made by them and let them do their own thing so they could go on PlayStation and Switch and good game. Okay. So elaborating further limitations of console exclusivity, the Moon Studio CEO gives a very interesting example. One for the Year's community with Phil Spencer, Thomas Muller always brought up how crazy it would be for certain DVDs would only play on players made by a certain manufacturer. If this is crazy for movies, Muller asked, then why is the difference for games considering how both PlayStation and Xbox consoles are powered by essentially the same hardware and have the same controller? At the same time, the console audience hasn't been growing. And for the entire industry to grow, access to the content must be easier. This is achieved by reducing the cost of the entry, and which was Microsoft is doing with the current strategy. For these reasons, Thomas Muller concludes that it would also be surprised if Sony didn't follow Microsoft's strategy and bring in the end of the days of PlayStation exclusive releases. I've said this multiple times in the past 4 or 5 years. Okay, before Sony even put their first game on PC, I said this is the way it's going to go because that's the way the industry will go. Okay. It is interesting, right? Can you imagine if you only had a DVD that only played on a Sony DVD player or only played on a Samsung DVD player? Okay. That'd be awful. Okay. But yet for video games, okay, it says that the audience is growing and then the console market is shrinking, right? It says here that console audience has not been growing, right? Yet we have people that were in this chat in the past that have talked to me and said that I'm a fanboy of this console over the other, which I'm never a fanboy of any plastic box. I play games where I have, where I want to play, and I just so happen to have an Xbox, so everyone thinks I'm an Xbox fan. Okay? I've said in the past that console sales are not rising. Less people are buying consoles, and people are like, no, 30, you're wrong. No one, you're full of shit. They're buying consoles all the time. Oh, really? Yeah? Is that why more people are playing on mobile devices? Is that why more people are playing on PC devices? Is this why the complete market is shrinking? And this is why they're going for live service games, and this is why they're going for streaming services like Ubisoft Plus and EA Play and Game Pass, and right? Like I love the people because they have their one-minded, they're like blinders on. They think that I have blinders on, but I'm just talking about the industry as a whole. I'm like, no, this is the way it's going because stats and data, which are facts, less people are buying consoles. And they're like, that's not true. PlayStation's on path to pay past the other PlayStation. Okay. Then why did they just charge you for a $700 PlayStation box? Because people are not buying the PlayStation 5 normally, so they had to dip back into the pockets of the people that already had a PlayStation that wanted to upgrade to their PlayStation. Okay. So let's continue. Okay. His tweet says, I know some people always want me to join the console warning, but strongly believe that Xbox P3 has the right approach. Okay. He decided a few years back not to make the Wicked game for under Microsoft because back then it couldn't have shipped it on PlayStation and Switch. And since then, so there you go. Okay. It says Microsoft started doing away with Xbox exclusives last year and has since released multiple games on PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch, including Hi-Fi Rush, Grounded, Sea of Thieves, and with Microsoft Flight Simulator, Halo, Master Chief Collection, and others are rumored to launch on PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch 2. It'll be very interesting to learn if Microsoft's strategy will pay off in such a big way if Sony considered to follow suit. And that is the crux of the thing, right? Right now, everyone is... It's lonely on the top, right? And when I say lonely on the top, if you believe something, regardless of whatever it is, and no one else believes it, and you're like, this is the way, okay? Everyone thinks you're crazy. Everyone thinks you're wrong, and that's the way it is. Until it's a proven concept, everyone will shun you, hate you, make fun of you, and do all these things, okay? But then when it happens, they'll jump on that bandwagon so fast because, look at that, it works. And I've said this from the past, okay? This is not me talking as an Xbox fanboy. This is talking that Microsoft is on their own island, okay? Everyone's like, they're going to be the next Sega. They're going to be like the Dreamcast. I said, no, Dreamcast was what it was because they didn't have the internet the way it was, okay? The internet right now is a game changer. And because of the cloud gaming and because that you can play digital games now is a completely different business model than what Sega Dreamcast was doing where they priced themselves out of the market, okay? You don't have to make anything and still have software sales, right? Hello, Steam. Before the Steam Deck and before the Steam Link that they had, they just put games on the PC. Did Steam make the PCs? Did Steam have hardware? No. Steam just had games on a browser, on a launcher, okay, that you could pay for, download, and play anytime you wanted. Now they're making hardware, okay, but they didn't need the hardware. Now Microsoft is going the direction of what Steam is doing and have been, okay, and everyone's like, oh, there's going to be no Xbox. What do you mean? Xbox is the brand. Steam is the brand, okay? Game Pass is that Xbox, right? It's Xbox Game Pass, okay? If Game Pass doesn't succeed or whatever, it's still Xbox. Xbox you could play on the television set. You could play on Samsungs and LGs and Fire Sticks, mobile phones and laptops, right? Their whole marketing thing of everything's an Xbox, that's the way it is, right? So right now, they're the lead in this market, right? Not to say they're the lead like they're making a shit ton of money. What I'm saying is they're the lead in this market because no one wants to follow them. They're by themselves right now. They're like, well, this is what we're doing. See if it works. GeForce Now is doing the exact same thing, okay? The difference between them is they don't want to actually have any hardware. Graphic cards, sure, but not a box that plays games, okay? They don't actually make the hardware. They make the device that goes in the hardware so you can play, okay? But GeForce Now is doing the exact same thing. Google Stadia was ahead of its time, okay? It was just a little too early to come out. If they came back out with Google and did something, maybe they could do something, right? But that's what's happening. Microsoft is leading in, or you want to say leading, if you want to say they're trying in this market. And when this market does succeed, because it will, okay, maybe not in the Game Pass form. Maybe they change it to something else. As Roadkill said, it'll be done in 3 to 5 years. Well, maybe they just change the name of Game Pass and it's completely something else. But that's the future. Digital games, streaming games, cloud gaming, that is the future. And everybody else is going to take suit of that and go, yeah, that's where we're going to go, because they have to, because that's the industry. Okay. Again, the analogy of, think back in the day when someone's like, man, I made this vehicle that doesn't need a horse. They're like, you think we're not going to use horses in the future? And they're like, yeah, it's a vehicle that you just wind it up and you can just get in it and drive. They're like, that's never going to work, right? Everyone's using horse and buggy. And then here we are, okay, where the Amish are still using horse and buggy and everyone else is using, electric cars and gas-powered cars, and it's completely changed the landscape. Technology is going to continue going forward. You can get on board with technology, or you can sit back in the past and watch it go by you. Here's my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. If you like what I do here, please make sure you check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. Who to Papa says, Game Pass makes my Xbox worth it, especially with the PC Game Pass. Hooked on it. 2, I can't wait for Sony games on PC. Getting games day one on Game Pass is valuable. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. We'll back up a little bit here. And Philip says, I can see Sony going the way once they get a full swing of PC ports and see profits from that. 100%. It's not if it happens, it's when it happens. It's going to happen because that's the way the industry is going. Travis says, 30, the next article titled 30 NSG might be the best and worst streamer ever tuned in at 11. It'll be a rant for 7 hours and say nothing. Maybe. Jason says, Helldivers 2 money was too good for them to ignore day one PC releases. Argus says, if it's not even about them wanting to get a PC or wanting to do exclusives to make money, they're factually going to have to do less exclusives and will likely eventually stop altogether. Waterbear says, only play exclusives that haven't dropped on PC on my PlayStation 5. Right, there's so many games right now, Water. Even if you liked a brand new game that came on PlayStation, let's say you didn't have a PlayStation, right? And you're like, you know what? I have a PC. Ghost of Tsushima or Ghost of Yotei comes out, and you're like, I really love that game. I don't want to buy a PlayStation. I'll just wait. I'll just wait for it to come out in 12 months because you have such a backlog of games that you can play that you don't have to worry about getting every single brand new game day one. Kraken says, if people were buying more consoles, PlayStation wouldn't have their games on PC. Exactly. Exactly. And if people were buying more consoles, then they wouldn't have all these other streaming services like EA Play, like Ubisoft Plus, like all these other things where they're putting them in multiple platforms. If this wasn't happening, Ubisoft wouldn't put their games on PC now, right? There's less people buying consoles. They have to get their money out there more. Final Fantasy that's why they signed up a deal with Xbox, because there's less people buying the consoles and they have to get as many people as possible, right? Roadkill says, no, not at all. They'll always make a pro console. So what says makes no sense. What do you mean? The majority of people will not be playing on console, Roadkill. That's already happening right now. Argus says, so pro consoles are designed to make more money off of already existing consumers of that brand. The majority of people that buy them aren't new customers. That's correct. That's correct. If they were new customers, then you would hear the PlayStation 5 Pro is like 7 million copies sold already. But that's not what it is, right? This is me not shitting on the PlayStation 5 Pro, but the reason Game Pass rises in cost, right? Game Pass Ultimate on console, there's less people that have a console. So how do you make more money? Well, people that are on console, if you give them the Ultimate and charge $20, they've now made an additional $5 off of each person that has Ultimate on console. And there's only like, what, 27, 28, maybe 30 million people that have a console for Xbox. So those people are now getting additional $5 off them. So what do? They raise the price because that's saturated. Not a lot of people are going to buy Xbox Series X's. So they raise the price of the Ultimate. This is why they haven't raised the price of Ultimate package for PC, because there's an abundance of people that can get it on PC. Once they hit the saturation point on PC, okay, for Game Pass, they'll raise the cost of their. Same exact thing goes for PlayStation. PlayStation hit the saturation point of people buying PlayStation 5s. So how do they make more money? Well, they had the PlayStation VR 2 come out, and then those people bought the $550 headset. And then that hit a saturation point, and then what else did they do? More people are not buying PlayStations. So what do? How do we make more people buy PlayStations? Well, we can't make people buy more PlayStations, but if we come out with the PlayStation Portal, which you need a PlayStation 5, we can kind of get conversion ratio of people that want to play on handheld games, and they'll buy a PlayStation 5 now, but then you're still asking for about $700. They're buying a PlayStation 5 and a Portal, right? Hence why the Portal didn't sell very well, but they double dipped back in. The only people that can buy a Portal are the people that own a PlayStation 5. Saturation point, they're like, okay, well, let's make a PlayStation 5 Pro. How many people are going to buy that? Probably 1.5 to 2 million people of our existing audience. Very few people that never had a PlayStation are going to come in at the $700 price point. They're going to buy a PlayStation 5 before they buy a PlayStation 5 Pro. The people that bought a PlayStation 5 Pro are people that already owned a PlayStation 5 because they hit their saturation point. Argus says, Game Pass alone subsidizes the cost of your Xbox. PlayStation Plus, I can't say the same for. I own both on console and have both sub-services, so I and alone can't make that statement. Let's see. Ponies are Amish. Kuda Papa says, drop my PlayStation Plus sub because that wasn't anything worthwhile. The only reason I have Game Pass, one, is because of my 10-year-old son, and two, because of the amount of day one games that can come out that I don't have to pay $70 for. It's well worth it. If they didn't have a day one day and date on Xbox Game Pass, it probably wouldn't be worth it as much. Chris says cloud is not something people are clamoring for. It's being pushed by Microsoft because it fits the business model, and they're also modeling Xbox fit Microsoft software focused business relying on Azure and AI. Chris, you understand though that it's not just Microsoft; it's the industry itself. Okay, the industry itself is going to tell you that this is where it's going. Okay, just like my analogy for horse and buggy, right? People that don't want or don't want cars, and they had the horse and buggy, like, no, horse and buggy will always be around. Sure, it sure is. The Amish people still using horse and buggy, but the majority, because the industry said this is what you're using, people started buying cars, and that was the future. People don't like cloud right now, and everyone thinks cloud is, well, it's just not feasible. You're absolutely correct. Right now, cloud is not people are not clamoring for it, but it doesn't matter if they're clamoring for it or not. They're going to be told this is what the future is, and you're going to slowly go into that. Just like AI. People are like, I'm not using AI. I'm not using AI. Now people are using AI for art, for videos, for music, for technology, for game design, for all this stuff. Leo says buying less consoles in general or going to PC. They're buying less consoles across the board. People are not buying consoles because of mobile devices, because of social media. They're not buying it, right? They're going to PC and getting into the PC landscape, or they own one of the consoles, right? Not multiple of the consoles. Hilly says, what's interesting about the article was the developers saying that everyone knows a developer wants their games everywhere. A platform that pushes against that goal will struggle more times and goes on. Bracken says, only a small percentage of people getting a pro console. Normies don't care about a pro console. Pro is for enthusiasts. Right. The saturation point of people, well, how do we make more money? We're not selling these PlayStation 5s right now, so let's make more money off the PlayStation 5 Pro. Which is not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but that's what it is. The reason the Ultimate is raising up for Xbox Game Pass is because the saturation point for consoles is hit the point. So they have to make more money of the people that are already in the ecosystem. Robert Jones says, I dropped my Game Pass and PlayStation Plus sub. It just used them periodically. Kurt says, every business is cloud prepping. That's correct, Kurt. Not just video games, just the industries itself are all going AI, all going cloud and whatnot. Xbox consoles are down, which the console industry is down overall. PlayStation 5 is keeping up with the PlayStation 4 sales. Nintendo is selling. The industry is not Microsoft. PlayStation and Nintendo aren't pushing cloud like Microsoft are. Again, Chris, you can stay in your lane, okay? But I'm just letting you know that technology is moving on without them. And Nintendo and PlayStation are not dumb. They're investing in these categories, okay? Hence why Nintendo already saw the future, and people are not playing games at home, hence why they made the Switch their handheld / console so you can take it to go. And where's the industry going now, right? Where's the industry going now? More people are buying handhelds. More people are buying mobile devices to play games on. And we could stay here and go, well, I don't play games on mobile devices, but I'm also not 10 to 15 years old. My son, my nephew, their cousins, they all play mobile devices. They all play games on mobile devices. They all play on handhelds and tablets and mobile phones. That's going in that industry. And if those people are playing games on those devices, those people are not buying consoles. Leo says, anyone know why Xbox doesn't have options for buying yearly Game Pass Ultimate and Game Pass Core on the console? How PlayStation and those options are on the console? Leo, they got rid of that. They got rid of buying the year because it was more profitable for them. Because people, what they would do is they would buy a whole bunch. People still do it when they raise the price. They buy a whole bunch of old stuff and then they'll add them up so they have like Game Pass for like 4 or 5 years. But the reason they do that, make the problem still a solution. The problem is you can't buy a full year of Game Pass or any kind of streaming service. And what they do is they raise the price per month. Okay, and you have to buy it like in 3-month increments and stuff like that. That's why they do that. Kuda Papa says, console sales across the board are going down. Conversations either aren't happening, or conversions aren't either happening, or people are, it's moving, I can't see, happening, more people are moving in a better platform. I know that a lot of people who didn't buy a PlayStation 5 are moved to PC. It says, in back in my mind, I thought that the Switch 2 would be a mobile phone that plays Nintendo games. It's going to be interesting to see with the way that the Switch 2 comes in and plays. I think it's just, to me, it's just the Switch. It's just more of the Switch. And Nintendo has to see something if they didn't make it a huge advancements. Obviously, the graphics are better, right? It's going to be played in third-party games. But I want to know once the games come out, how much better they are on the brand new Switch compared to the old Switch. Are a lot of people that are on the Nintendo Switch going to be like, yeah, this is enough of an update for me to get rid of this Switch and buy the next Switch 2? Or do they wait? Most people buy, no matter what console it is, most people wait 4 to 5 years into the life cycle before they buy the next console. Travis says, you said you know as likely personally, and I find out hard to believe that you know people outside of your teaching. Who's that for, Travis? Argus, you guys are talking. Chris says, Nintendo made the Switch because of the Japanese market prefers mobile with their business on the go lifestyle. PC handheld sales are garbage. Steam Deck is estimated at 5 million total sales. Again, Chris, you're looking at it at the starting point of where we're at. right? More and more people are going that direction, and yet more people are playing games on mobile phones. You and I are not playing games on mobile phones because we're grown adults, okay? And most people don't have the time for that. So we don't play our games on those devices, but your children do, and your grandchildren do. And the industry is not looking for you anymore. They're looking at the future because those people, when they grow up, where are they going to play? Well, they're probably going to be playing on the cloud. They're probably going to be playing on mobile. What's going on, Mr. Luke? Good Papa says, a ton of friends, just not in aviation. I have been aviation in my entire life. Yeah, it's interesting to see what about the Switch 2, Travis. I want to know how much better the graphics and stuff are, because we've heard rumors of what it is, but no one's actually seen gameplay besides that trailer we saw with the new Mario Kart on there. All right, what time is it? We got 11 o'clock. This video that we have of Destin Laguerre talking to Phil Spencer, I haven't watched it. People say it's a good interview. I know he posted it yesterday for the first time. I think he did it last week for his Patreons and whatnot, and then uploaded it onto YouTube yesterday. Robert Jones already double dips in the mobile market. Yeah, well, triple dip actually, right? Because they have the 3DSs or whatever. They do the Switch, and they also put some of their franchises or mobile versions of their games on like the Google Android phone and the mobile phone and stuff like that. Travis says, my Switch collects dust. Switch 2 will do the same. Sure. But again, you got to remember, Travis, Nintendo in general is it's meant for everybody. But their big fan base is 12 and under, right? 12 and under is their main consumers. All right. All the articles and all the videos that we watch are going to be in the description down below. If you guys like any of the stuff, go check out the articles. Go check out the videos. We're going to watch Destin Laguerre talk with Phil Spencer about what Microsoft is doing.
This interview is brought to you by people just like you. This first launch on Patreon and to YouTube members, so a big thanks to them for backing. If you would like to do so, you can go to patreon.com/SafeStatePlus or become a member here on YouTube. Phil Spencer, thank you so much for joining me after an incredible...
Phil's lost a lot of weight. I'm sure he's doing some health kick or something. I don't think he's sick, but he's lost a lot of weight. I saw an interview with him from last year when they were talking about the 4 games that were coming on PlayStation, and he was like heavy set, man. You can tell, and it looks like he's slimmed down. I don't know if he did that whatever that diet thing is for like 30 for 30 or something like that.
Direct. How are you feeling after that show?
Oh, I love Direct. I mean, for me, there's obviously I see all the behind the scenes, so the teams and the studios doing all their work, letting us come in with our cameras and record stuff, and then seeing the community and how it responded.
Yeah, Destin started. He left IGN, 7GN. He started his own solo project where this is his full-time job now, right? Which I gotta say, I don't care what you think about Destin, if you like him, if you don't like him. As a person that he has 2 brand new children, you know what I mean? Like they're under, I think his first kid's like 3 or 2, and he just had another kid or whatever, so he's got 2 kids. To do that, like, that's got to be nerve-wracking, man. To all of a sudden you have a stable job, and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to cut that cord and go straight full-time. So kudos to him taking the plunge.
It was fantastic. So we all watched it together. We got together in a room here, even though we'd seen it so many times, but we still just get a ton of energy from that. It was a good day. Good day.
Everyone really seemed to love it. Ninja Gaiden was a huge get. Props to CJ for doing some production work, I imagine, on that one. It's one of his favorite games. Can you give us a bit more of a peek into the Japan trip that made that happen?
Well, it was multiple trips. I think I have a picture actually of me in their offices holding.
Everyone's looking at the back and looking at all the stuff behind Phil, right? Look at that device that's up on the top there. It's a small little box that never came out. That's that Not the dongle, but it's a much smaller Xbox.
Well, we're holding a Ryu statue. That was probably 2017, like when we started hey, we should go do something. And then I'd go over, Sarah Bond and I, multiple times a year. We needed to find the right studio to do the game. So that when Platinum, we got them signed up. And so it's been a good journey. It's been a long journey, but we waited because obviously the game's coming out in 2025. So in terms of launch,
it's annoying to me that Phil Spencer's camera is not focusing.
announced a launch.
The Keystone. Thank you.
This is a pretty tight turn for us. I know when I was there last Tokyo Game Show, I was in the offices and I was playing old Ninja Gaiden on my phone on cloud, and I saw somebody saw that I was playing, and I was like, oh, I better log off because I thought I was going to spoil.
Yeah, because people watch him like a hawk, man. When he's playing, they're like, oh, it's Phil Spencer. Like he's playing something, so he's even aware of it.
Spoil the secret. But yeah, it took a long time, but really great response. And I love the energy around 4 and getting to do the remake of 2 Black and to drop that in the show, and the support we had from Koei and Team Ninja and Platinum all up was just fantastic. It was a nice moment, especially for Xbox, because we have such a history with the franchise.
Definitely a fun surprise for me. I downloaded it and played a little bit last night. Let's talk about games. So what was your favorite game of 2024? And now that you've made all these announcements, what are you looking forward to most in 2025?
My favorite, so I usually try to take our own portfolio out because it's kind of unfair, I think. I will say I'm playing through retail. I say retail because we have debug builds for a long time. Retail of Indiana Jones, and I think Machine Games just did fantastic.
I agree. I think they did a good job with Indiana Jones. Good game.
Work on that. I'm really having a great time with it. But if I think about our third-party partners, my game of the year, I think I voted for it, was Metaphor, Refantazio. I just thought the team did really...
What? Phil Spencer's playing other games other than what they make?
Awesome work. I love new franchises, kind of new IP, teams that are brave to go do that. Looking forward over the next year, so many games coming. I do have I will always have a soft spot for Doom, just given how many years Doom has been a part of my life. But I will say from the show, seeing Compulsion, their third game, like them evolving their capability as a studio, it's really nice to just see Guillaume and the team and the progress that they're making. And then there's stuff coming in our second half, which I'm also really excited about. And obviously you can't, if you're in this industry, GTA and like what it will mean when it launches to this industry will just be a fantastic moment. So
what I hear there, I don't want to pause on a weird face. What I hear there is, because he just mentioned GTA 6, he's like, yeah, we have our lineup in the second half of the year, but we're not going to say anything yet because we're waiting for GTA 6 to announce something.
From a game standpoint, I feel really good about the lineup of things to come from first and third party, and a ton of fun stuff to play.
Absolutely. Sorry, I was distracted by a technical issue there for just a second.
Was it me?
No, it was not you. It was Will. Will.
No.
Just kidding.
Damn you, Will. I have no idea what happened there.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a good transition point. We do want to take a bunch of questions from fans, from patrons who wrote in. And one of the pressing questions was about Satya Nadella's comments saying, we're redefining what it means to be an Xbox fan. So what does it mean to be an Xbox fan? Maybe you could define that for us.
I don't know if that's a fair question, considering someone said Nadell said that. And they're like, what does he mean? Like, how do you... I mean, I guess you could give your thoughts on what he meant, but this is not what Phil said. This is what Nadell said.
Yeah, let me start. It is my answer.
Exactly.
Sati can talk about his answer. I'll just say, I don't think I get to define what it means to be a fan of Xbox, right? It's like your experience in the platform is different than mine, is different from other players. So I think everybody builds their own personal connection to the platform. You know, the thing that's really driving us...
That's with anything, right? If you like a game, if you like a movie, if you like a book, 1,000 people can read the book. One person like falls in love with the book. Everybody else is like, it's okay. But that one person that fell in love with that book sees it in a completely different landscape or a different light than other people, right? That goes with anything, not just video games and what Xbox means to somebody.
This is how do we
Same with PlayStation. Like someone might be like, yeah, the very first time I played a PlayStation, right? I mean, I still remember Atari, right? The very first time my dad sat me in his lap and we played bowling together, right? That's a huge factor in my gaming life, right? I'm not in love with Atari, but at the same time, it really good memory of it.
continue to innovate to make the best games possible. And when we look at the world today, the best games, the biggest games, the ones that fuel kind of reinvestment in new games that are coming or games that are available in as many places as possible.
I want to rewind that. He's talking about big games helping other games.
How do we continue to innovate to make the best games possible?
Okay.
And when we look at the world today, the best games, the biggest games, the ones that fuel kind of reinvestment.
The biggest games that make the most money, they reinvest that into other games.
In new games that are coming or games that are available in as many places as possible. So I want Xbox as a platform to be world-class at connecting players and creators wherever those players might be. And whether it's on cloud, whether it's on PC, whether it's on our own hardware and our own platform, which we love, or other places, we're constantly working at Xbox to make sure that everybody can play the games that they want to play. You know, one of the things I was really proud of yesterday at Showcase was we opened the show with the announcement that all of these games are play anywhere. And it was kind of just a text announcement. But for those of us that are playing on our handheld, like our Steam Deck,
I don't know why they don't say that. Why put out a text when you could say it during the actual show?
our Allies, our Lenovo, like
Prototypes.
console, like all of the
Look at Destin taking a shot. He's like, the prototypes. Let me sneak that in there.
It matters that my save game moves with me. Like I wouldn't want to have to start Indie again because I'm playing on a different platform, on a different device. I want to be able to play the games that I'm playing everywhere. And I think we learn a lot.
So real quick, as a gamer, right? If you're a PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, PC, whatever, okay, you're just a gamer. I don't ever see the problem with, like, even Steam. You can only play Steam games on Steam, right? You can only play PlayStation games on PlayStation. You can only play Nintendo games on Nintendo. For some reason, everyone hates that because Xbox decided to change what the norm is, and you can play Xbox games everywhere. And then the people that are Xbox fans, right? The people that are upset that the reason they bought an Xbox is so other people can't play their stuff. That's what they chose, right? They chose the Xbox because the games that they have that nobody else could play, right? I don't know if you want to call them gatekeepers or whatnot, but now you can play it anywhere. So if you're an Xbox person, and you're angry at Microsoft because you're like, well, now everyone can play those games, so now I'm mad because everyone can play those games. That makes no sense to me, right? Because if you're playing third-party games like a Call of Duty or Fortnite or whatever, where we can all play together across all platforms. It doesn't matter if you're on PlayStation, Nintendo, PC, or Xbox. You can all play Fortnite together. You could all play Call of Duty together, okay? So that's awesome, right? A third-party game that everyone can play on all platforms. For some strange reason, the people that are on Xbox that are mad, that are like, well, what's the reason of buying an Xbox? You don't have to buy an Xbox. If you want an Xbox, then buy an Xbox, right? But you can still play. And if you're on PlayStation, you're like, well, I'm not going to buy an Xbox, but I'm still interested in their games. Okay, so then why get rid of your Xbox, right? And if you want to get rid of your Xbox, cool. Get rid of your Xbox. And then you can get a PlayStation. You get a PlayStation 5, enjoy the PlayStation 5 games, and then you can also enjoy the Xbox games. I never understood why people get mad because there's more places for you to play video games.
As a platform by innovating in that space. So let's continue to innovate as a platform to allow the best games. And then from a fan standpoint, I think Showcase is a good example of this. Let's make sure the best games will be on Xbox and that people will be able to play it, whether from our studios or other studios, and it's the best place to play those games.
In order to be the best place, some of your competition have been utilizing AI features. So would the next Xbox use AI to improve graphics?
Of course. I'll answer the question before he answers the question. Of course, because that is where the industry is going.
Or enhance things in another way?
think it's really important in the AI space that we take the same lens of how do we use AI to make the player experience better or the creator experience better. We already have kind of auto up-res technologies, whether it's from NVIDIA, from us, from AMD, Sony's rolled out theirs as well. I think that can help, especially when you think about battery life product devices that are battery driven, where power is important. More resolution means more power. So if you can actually use techniques to up-res a screen, actually makes the
techniques. Make fake frames. Techniques.
Battery life longer. But when we think about AI at a fundamental level, it's does it make our creators' jobs easier? Does it allow them to do things that they've never done before? And then on the player side, most of our AI investments today are all around safety and how we're...
Yeah, but you guys are saying if you're one of those people that then they shouldn't be able to buy it. Those people, if they hate Xbox so bad, they're not going to buy it anyway. You see what I'm saying? So the people that are on PlayStation that are buying the Xbox games are not the same people that shit talk the other side. They're just people that want to play games.
Kind of making sure our services are as safe as they can possibly be. And we'll continue doing that. Like, it's, if we can make creators' lives easier and they can do things they've never done and make our services more secure and better for our players, like, that's definitely a worthwhile investment.
Got it. Is that sort of what was meant by, or at least partially, the largest technical leap you have ever seen in a hardware generation?
That's Sarah Bond saying that, though. That's not Phil Spencer saying that.
What was it, last year's show?
I think that was Sarah's line.
Yeah, that was Sarah's line.
I think Sarah runs our hardware team. Like, I think she's really...
You can't take someone else's quote and put it into Phil like he said it.
Excited by the innovation that we're seeing in hardware, and frankly, not just from us. But when you look in the industry right now, I mean, CES, the headlines around new form factors for people playing video games on different devices, the Switch 2 announced was cool to see. So I think we went through a period in gaming where there was either a desktop or a laptop or a console, and that was kind of it to play video games. Now you've got, LG, we announced that you can play games there. You can stream games to different devices. So one of the things is just how many different devices are able to play the AAA video games that people love. And then making sure that our next devices are devices that are really defined by innovation and differentiation. And I love the roadmap that the team's putting together.
I wonder what they're doing. Obviously there's a handheld, which I think is stupid, because you're gonna have so many different handheld devices. And if all the handheld devices, for instance, let's say Microsoft has their handheld device, and their handheld device plays Microsoft games and also plays maybe Steam games, and if it doesn't, and it just plays Xbox games, and then Steam's can play Xbox and Steam games and PlayStation games, then obviously when you're purchasing a thing, you're really like, well, I'm going to buy the system, the handheld, if it's Steam Deck, if it's ROG Ally, if it's the Microsoft one, you're going to buy the system that can play the most games in the most places, right? So I think it's dumb, in my opinion, if Microsoft comes out and only makes the thing that only plays the Microsoft games and doesn't have Steam on there, doesn't have other things on there, right? So I think it's dumb, especially since Microsoft, in their investing in a new hardware, where their hardware wasn't selling well in this category of console, all of a sudden they're going to make a handheld and it's going to sell well. There's way more competition in the handheld market than there was in the console market. And I think it would be more valuable if they just worked with companies that made those things, okay, and then play those games on those devices. Right? Okuda Papa says, interesting that he mentioned NVIDIA. Thank you much for the $2 super chat.
There.
You brought up CES, so I'm going to go there. How are those Xbox handheld prototypes you teased to Bloomberg coming along?
You have to use the product, right? And that's what we do, whether it's the products that are in market today. I think it's important, the partnerships that we have with the OEMs, thinking about our Xbox experience through the Xbox app and how it performs on smaller form factor controller driven.
That's what they're going for, right? The app, which you can, access all of your stuff, play your games, buy your games. That's where they're going for.
And devices, how we're streaming, how Game Pass shows up. It's not just on the device side, but yes, device innovation has to happen, but also our services, our UI, our games tested on those platforms, on those screen sizes, on the devices that perform at that level of performance. It's a lot of work for us to stay on top of this, but it allows more people to play the great games that are out there. And for the industry, I just think that's a critical thing for us to be focused on right now.
Yeah, ripping the Band-Aid off on that topic while you're there, are all Xbox games going to PlayStation someday, or will there still be exclusives? How are those red lines looking these days?
I think everything's up in the air, but it all depends. See, this is another thing I don't understand. Everyone's upset because Halo is potentially going to be on PlayStation, right? And as you as a gamer, I don't understand why that affects anybody whatsoever. It doesn't, right? You're just a person that buys the games, right? So buy the game where you want to buy the game. But Halo has been on multiple platforms for 2 decades. 2 decades. It was on Mac. I don't remember people saying that, oh my God, the brand is dead because they're putting it on Mac, right? Halo was on Mac way back in the day. It's been on PCs for decades. And yet now, because it's going to PlayStation, everyone's losing their collective minds.
The red line, just to be clear, was of me responding to an answer. I sometimes gets positioned if I kind of ran out with a Red Lines t-shirt on. We are finding that our games shipping on multiple platforms is a good thing for Xbox. It makes Xbox stronger.
Well, of course, because more people potentially have more time, or more people have more potential to play your games.
It lets us do shows like we did with Showcase with great games, give our game time teams the time they need for us to invest in platform, for us to invest in hardware. I think all of this is part of what Xbox is going to be when we go forward. When you ask the question like no, I mean, there's Xbox games that have shipped that we're not going to put on other platforms. Some of the things we'll look at how they do, but you're going to see more games, not just shipping on PlayStation, shipping on Nintendo. We'll continue to support Steam.
I have to find it. It was back in, I think, 2019, maybe early 2020. I said that Xbox would be on Nintendo. I said Game Pass. Specifically, I said Game Pass. Now, obviously, Game Pass is not going to be, at least yet. But in 2019, on GXG, I remember talking about how Xbox would be on PlayStation as Game Pass, and also Nintendo on Game Pass. Now, obviously, again, I was close. Not bad for 5-6 years ago when I said that Xbox will be on these platforms, and I said because of Game Pass. But they're just taking their games and putting them over to these platforms. So I was close. I said they will be over on these platforms, and people told me I was crazy.
The way that they ship, we want our games to be in places that people play. We think that enables us to do more on platform, do more on hardware, and it's a good system for us that works. It doesn't mean every other company's got to do it that way, but it does mean, I think,
well, they don't have to do it that way until, like I said in the other article that we talked about earlier, if it works and it's proven that it works, then everybody else will jump on board. Just like if a Battle Royale came out and a Battle Royale was making a shit ton of money, and then all of a sudden all these other companies started making a Battle Royale. No one wants to be the first, right? But they'll jump on that bandwagon as soon as it shows that it's making money.
I think that measuring our progress is different than maybe we measured the progress of Xbox or a console-only platform 10 years ago. It's why we talk a lot about players. I think a lot about the hours that people play on our platform, where we're seeing growth. And this has enabled us to grow in places that we don't normally. Our fastest growing region right now is Asia in terms of players. And I think about hours. Our fastest growing hours is on cloud. It's
amazing. But cloud is not going to be a thing. Don't worry about it.
Us finding players in places that people want to go play. They want to buy a console. They want to buy a gaming desktop. Great. Our games will be awesome there. Our consoles will be a great place to play. But let's let games live where.
Gamer says if they had 80 million install base, this wouldn't have been a case. It's hard to look at that and say that what you're saying is true, because hindsight is 2020, right? Obviously, if you're the industry leader, then you wouldn't have to. But let's say they were the industry leader and they decided to do this. Do you think the other people that weren't behind them would follow suit faster? Right? You see, it's very comfortable at the top, right? When you're the top, you don't have to make choices and stuff. You can just sit back and relax because that is what's happening, right? You're the industry leader. Sony was that leader. Xbox is not the leader, and they're taking this chance of going this direction. If they were in the lead and they did this, everybody else would follow suit right away. But these guys are comfortable where they are. Nintendo and PlayStation are comfortable because they don't have to. They're okay with their 120 or 150 million user base across their platforms. Okay, Xbox across their platforms, they're around 80 million or whatever it is between Xbox One and Xbox whatever. Okay, but they're much larger now because of the cloud. They're much larger now because of PC, and that is where they're going. So you to say that you might be 100% correct by saying if they were 80 million, they wouldn't do this. I beg to differ. Microsoft wants to keep doing this, and there's still a saturation point in consoles. Okay, there's still a saturation point. And if Microsoft was the leader, they would have been like, well, we can't make all the money yet, but what about if we went over to PC and shade all our games? They would do I think they would do the exact same thing they're doing if they were the leader or if they are right now. It looks like they're doing what they're doing now because they're struggling, but I think they're doing it because they can, because they're Microsoft. They have so much money to play with and to experiment with, just like Nintendo. I call them Crazy Uncle Nintendo because they have so much money. They can experiment with new consoles and new things, and if it fails, it doesn't matter because they have such a strong core player base that's been loving Nintendo since I was a wee lad.
Their players want to play them.
Got it. I remember a speech you made at some point. It was something like, we're doing 4 games. Those games aren't Indiana Jones and Starfield. Indiana Jones has an exclusivity window, to be fair. Can you solidify that Starfield's staying put for the time being?
No, like I'm not. There's no specific game that.
Yeah, I don't. Look, they pay a lot of money for a lot of people to see is there a player base, is there interest in this game. Halo going over would make 100% sense. There's a lot of interest in Halo. Okay, if it's an additional 2 million, 3 million, 4 million people that come over and play Halo, they'll be like, yeah, we can put that over there. We know it would make sales. Not every game, especially new IPs, might not have the same interest. So to say that Starfield is going or not going, I think it's a case by case, which he said over a year ago.
This kind of goes back to my red line answer. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no reason for me to put a ring fence around any game and say this game will not go to a place that it would find players, where it would have business success for us. What we find is we're able to drive a better business that allows us to invest in great game lineup like you saw. And that's our strategy, right? Our strategy is to allow our games to be available. Game Pass is an important component of playing the games on our platform. But to keep games off of other platforms, we don't think is a path that that's not a path for us. It doesn't work for us. What we're doing now, we think really enables us to build the best platform for the world's best games, because the world's biggest games are available in multiple places. And more creators are asking us, how do we stay connected when our game might be playable in all these different places? And we want Xbox to be absolutely the platform that enables that. We think that makes us unique. Most of the other platforms out there are single platform on single device, whether that's PC, whether it's mobile, whether it's a console. And we want Xbox to be a platform that enables creators across any screen that people want to play on.
Right. How do you make yourself different? You got to stand out. Their standout is, well, everyone else is doing the traditional stay on your platform, and we're not.
I hear you. That makes absolutely perfect sense to me. I do think that some fans are a little concerned about, how should I say it? Xbox losing its identity, maybe?
Everyone uses identity. Everyone loses identity. Right? Let's take an example here. You're in high school and you went through your emo phase, or you went through your sports phase, right? You adapted and hung out with people because that was, at that point, whatever you were doing, right? And then all of a sudden, you grew up, you changed, you adapted, and you went, I'm no longer this person, and I changed. Now, as a business, it's different. A business doesn't have that persona of what it is. The business of Xbox was, they came in as they're another gaming platform. They're a person that's just They made a gaming just like PlayStation, just like Nintendo, just like Atari, just like a Sega, right? Just like all these Neo Geo, all these other things that came out, right? And then they're like, yeah, we're going to throw our hat in the ring. And then they did. And it was like this normality of make a console, here's some exclusives. That's what it is. And then they changed it. Everyone's like, ah! Like they're freaking out. It's like, you're allowed to change things. You're allowed to do things. Now, we talked about what Battlefield, okay, the other day, and I said, Battlefield's structure, right? You could change Battlefield, right? They said they were going back to their roots and changing it to what it is. You can change the fundamentals and still be what you are. And what they are is Xbox, and they're still making games, and they still have a console. So they're still there. Battlefield is no longer what Battlefield is. Battlefield is a completely different game because they're trying to be like the other games. They're not trying to be like anybody. They're trying to lead the way in this new era of whatever they're trying to do. And there's no path because they're writing it as they go. Jack says, the problem is perception of Xbox giving games to PlayStation while getting nothing in return from PlayStation, locking games away for paid exclusives. Yeah, but who cares? If someone's an asshole to me, Jax, why do I have to be an asshole back to them? Right? Why? Thank you very much for the $5, by the way. $4.99. Right? Why do you have to be, because someone else is doing something, why do you have to be the same as them? As a person, you can be like, yeah, that guy's an asshole, but I'm gonna be better. I'm not gonna be an asshole towards them. I'm just gonna, right? You don't want to give us your games? That's cool. I'll give you our games, right? But remember, there are PlayStation games studios on the Xbox right now. MLB The Show exists. It's there. It's on Xbox.
What would you say to address those concerns from longtime fans?
Well, one, I hear them, right? I'm pretty active in our player base, and I'm active in the community. I listen. I think our identity will continue to evolve, which it frankly always has.
Of course it does.
But when I hear concerns about, is my library of games safe? Am I still going to be able to play the games? And I think over the years, I'm proud of the commitment we've shown to respecting purchases on our platform.
And that's it, Kraken, right? Kraken says, if you're worried about games, just get a PC. Boom. Best of both worlds. Problem solved. Right. Get a PC, pay $12, you get an Xbox. Got Steam, and then you can wait to get PlayStation games on Steam. The only thing you're missing is Nintendo.
Through back compat, through cross entitlement, Xbox Play Anywhere, through cross-play, things that we've done to enable people to continue to play. So I hear that when I think about I see the investments we're making in platform and how we want Xbox to show up in multiple places and your library to be available there. When I think about buy to stream, so if I buy a game, I'll be able to stream it to devices. Like, this is all about making sure that your library of games that you own on Xbox are playable in multiple places. So I'd say it's an evolution of our identity, but I believe it's an identity that this industry needs. When you think about where this industry is,
I gotta rewind that for a second. I gotta hear what he's saying.
When I think about buy to stream, so if I buy a game, I'll be able to stream it to devices. Like, this is all about making sure that your library of games that you own on Xbox are playable in multiple places. So I'd say it's an evolution of our identity, but I believe it's an identity that this industry needs. When you think about where this industry is now and you see the challenges, the business challenges.
Right, Argus, right? Get Game Pass Ultimate. Get on console Game Pass, day one releases, and PC Game Pass included. Massive W. Yeah.
That are out there for many companies, that I think us keep making games more accessible to more people has just got to be front and center for us as an industry. So
I don't understand why people are mad at that. It doesn't make sense in my head that people are upset because they're putting their games for more people to play. I just don't understand. As a gamer, I don't get it, right? I'm not an Xbox lover. I have an Xbox. I'm just confused on why people are like, I'm like, here's $10. They're like, I don't want your $10. Like, I'm just giving you $10. You're like, just take the $10, right? They're like, no, I don't want it. It's like, I don't understand. I'm giving you stuff. You can play it here if you want to. If you don't want to play it, you don't have to play it.
We continue to see great.
They feel like they chose the wrong box. That is so close-minded. Not saying you, Jones, but I'm saying that's so close-minded. Right? Like, Go play where you want to play. How is that a bad thing? Because they're loyal to brand, not their own wallets. Real quick, a clip says, look at NVIDIA GeForce. I mean, might be because they're putting a 5000 series as a new server, but not accepting new people right now because they think the servers are being filled. Cloud becoming the future. I believe so, but, we'll see what happens.
Games that we've seen over the years.
This video was made possible by patrons and YouTube members.
It just doesn't make sense to
like
me.
To support, you can go to patreon.com.
It makes no sense to me that people are upset
to support my
because
work, and you can also support
play
by
games
becoming
in more
a
places.
member on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. If you don't want to become a member or a patron supporter, I totally understand. Consider hitting that subscribe button, hitting that bell, or just hitting the like button if you think I did good work. Now, let's get back to it. You talked a little bit about how Xbox is growing in Asia. Could you elaborate more on Xbox's plan to grow outside of the US? I know you mentioned China as being an interesting territory to look at, but is there any more you could talk about there?
We're seeing a lot of growth on PC, PC Game Pass.
Imagine that. PC Game Pass is by far the best deal in gaming anywhere. Okay, obviously, once they hit their saturation point, they will start raising the cost of PC Game Pass.
Is doing really well. Our Xbox app on Windows continues to evolve, and it's fun to see the work that the team is doing and how people are engaging with Game Bar and our Xbox app, our portfolio. We made the decision, as you know, years ago that our first party would ship both on Xbox console and PC day and date. And for the most part, we've been able to deliver that.
But Jones, you're not stuck with that console, right? There's people that will buy the console. GameStop will give you store credit. There's ways to get around it where you're not paying full price. And it's easy to go the other direction. Now, I get it. There's people that can only afford one thing and they're stuck there. Okay, but if you want it, you'll buy it. And if you can't buy it, then you'll deal with what you have.
There's a couple kind of anomalies, but we've done that over the years. So we're seeing a lot of growth in cloud, a lot of growth in PC. Our first party is doing a great job. And when you look back, we just had the biggest COD release we've ever had. It's with all the players that we have. Indiana Jones.
I hate that term when they're like, we had the biggest COD release we ever had. But you just got COD. So you've never had COD before. I just hate terminology like that. It's like #1 movie at the box office this weekend, but no other movies came out that weekend.
And I was looking at Indiana Jones play on
like Veilguard. Veilguard said that they had the most Steam users ever on any game. Well, there was no other game before. Like, Veilguard was the first game on Steam, so of course it was the #1 game because it was the first game ever to come out day one on Steam and console at the same time.
Cloud, and seeing it's like one of our top games that were streamed. Players were playing that way, and I just think, how awesome is it that we can build games and they get played by millions and millions, if not tens of millions of people, in places that maybe 5 years ago we wouldn't have envisioned, but now it's become a reality. So when we look at global markets, we want to map to how the market dynamic it is. We don't have one solution for every market. That's not us. You don't have to go buy a console in order to become an Xbox, a member of the community in these.
Imagine a company telling you, you don't have to buy our product to enjoy our stuff. Just imagine that for a second. You come into us, you don't have to buy my burger to be here, right? You just hang out. Just hang out in the restaurant. Don't buy anything, right? You don't have to buy it. That's crazy. That's crazy to think that you can enjoy our stuff. You just don't have to buy it.
Markets, and people are responding. They're playing on PC, they're playing on cloud, and they're playing on console. For those that want that, we're going to continue to do great work on console and continue to make sure that experience is top notch.
Do you see the market going more in that direction, just as an anecdote? Because you're talking about releasing basically anywhere the players are. Some people are still doing traditional models, but the industry is making $300 million games now, and they're looking for new revenue growth.
That's a good question.
Sectors. Where do you see the games industry, not just Xbox, but the games industry going with that regard?
It's already there. And I know they're not always the games that all the community talks about, but I see the most played games on the platform. And when you look at the most played games, you're looking at games that are available on any screen from the creators.
Imagine that. Let me see. He's going to name Minecraft, Fortnite, Call of Duty. What other games are on all platforms?
If you think about a Fortnite, you think about a Roblox, a Minecraft, a Call of Duty, a Genshin, like you look at these games.
Imagine the top games in the market are games that are everywhere on all consoles, or majority of the consoles and PC.
And they have tremendous success because they're available anywhere, from small screen to big screen. I'm able to log in and play the games that I want to go play. And those are the games that are at the top of revenue and the top of players on every platform. It have been for a while. I remember it was a few years ago, I made some comment about single player games not having the same impact that they used to have. And I got a bunch of, kind of grief for that. But what I was just saying is I love playing single player games. I love the fact that in our showcase, every one of those games is a single player game. Beginning, middle, and end, I can go play those games. But when I saw the business and where the kind of hours and revenue was going, I was worried that if $70 was your only solution to selling a big single player game, that you might
not buy more games
into just the money and the time are going to other games. And this is kind of part of Game Pass.
Let me rewind real fast what he just said there.
Kind of hours and revenue was going. I was worried that if $70 was your only solution to selling a big single player game, that you might run into just the money and the time are going to other games. And this is kind of part of Game Pass's genesis and what we were trying to do there. And it's helped us. It's helped us to support those games. But I wouldn't look at you like you position kind of as a forward look. And I get it. Yes, I think you're going to continue to see more and more games available on more screens. But frankly, it's today. When you look at the biggest games in the world, they're available in a ton of geos and on many different screens. And that's what creators want.
Imagine, right? He said a $70 game and your time, right? Go ahead, make that $100 game. Go ahead, make that $100 game. Let's see where the player base goes. Let's see how many people don't buy your $100 game. People will buy the $100 game, don't get me wrong, right? But the majority of people are not going to buy a $100 game, okay? You go to 80, you're on that cusp. You're on the cusp of people that might buy a game, especially for a single-player game. You could get it like we talked about yesterday. You can get it for maybe GTA 6, okay? But you're not getting it for a Madden. You're not getting it for all those other games. And people will just wait, or they'll go to a streaming service like a Game Pass, like a Ubisoft Plus, like an EA Play, because make the problem, sell the solution. The problem is the games are getting too expensive. Solution is, here's a cheaper product where you can play all these games all at once.
We touched on it a little bit already, but a lot of people asked this question. It was in regards to the no red lines comment again, in regards to Halo, and they're wondering what is the value proposition to owning, say, an Xbox console or being in the Xbox ecosystem.
You're going to be able to play your games that you buy with us in many different places. Your state, your save game. Like, quick story: a friend of mine who I work with, she's younger than I am. She never played the Gears games. So we're going through and playing Gears from back, started on 1, we're now on 3. They're all co-op, so we're playing together. And the simple thing like logging in and seeing my save game from 2011 kind of populate, and I still get to go play. Like the experience.
My save game was still there for Battlefront back in the day. Okay, was that 2000? When did the collect the like super old? I forget when it was. It's like 2011, 2012, one of my saves. I don't know if it was Star Wars. Was it one of the other games? I was just like, Jesus, 2011. Still had my save.
Experience that you're going to have on Xbox is we respect your progress on our platform and the games that you own with us. We're going to make available in more places, whether it's buy to stream and you can stream to the devices that are near you.
That's a big thing for me. Okay. Respecting the player. Okay, regardless of the company, respect the player, right? You're respecting me because my saves, my games are still there. I can go back and play those things over and over. I don't like that I don't own them, okay? Because if they do ever shut down the servers, then I can't play it again. But it doesn't really matter because the Battleborn, I would love if they bring Battleborn back. They got Gigantica back. Maybe they bring Battleborn back, the single player.
On console or PC, like that, I think that's our value proposition of Xbox. And on the hardware side, I want us to innovate and make the hardware the differentiator. Like we've gotten into this space where the differentiation on the hardware has gone down and it's really been locked games that you've tried to make the identity of the hardware. I love when I see handhelds, when I see kind of unique things that hardware manufacturers do And I want our hardware to compete on power and on innovation. So let's have our platform continue to innovate with services and the hardware work that we're doing, whether it's control, whether it's power, mobility, whatever it is that we're focused on. And let's have our games reach you as the person who's investing your time and your money in our games wherever you want to go play. I think that's our identity going forward. And it's working for us now. And I love the innovation.
Is there going to be a world where all their games are played everywhere and then their identity changes 20 years from now and you can only play on the console again? Everyone's like, oh, God, you're losing your identity where we could play everywhere. Now we can only play in one place.
Innovation that we're able to bring through doing that.
I've had this crazy theory that you're going to lock in a deal with Steam, and Steam's going to be, because you brought up Epic in one of your interviews.
Let's see if his eyes move, if he smirks, if he laughs, if he giggles. Okay, because I said Steam might be coming.
How are you?
Poker face.
You and Gabe. You guys been hanging
poker
out,
face, Phil.
I wouldn't, like, we tend not to lock up things when we do. We have a great relationship with Valve, and I mean, obviously they're right down the road from us. And the conversations we have, listening to them as a developer on Windows, as a publisher on Windows, as a storefront on Windows, and the things that they would like to see. I know Jason Ronald at CES talked a little bit about our work on Xbox with our Windows team here. And I think us, as much as we listen to game creators on our platform, listening to what Valve and Epic and Discord and others have to say about what it means to be on Windows with a great gaming service, and how we as Microsoft and the Xbox team continue to evolve those things.
What about if Steam, not just the Steam Deck, but what about if Steam and Xbox just team up, right? Because the Steam Deck hasn't really sold very well for Valve. I think it's like 3 million copies or 4 million copies, which I guess is good, but for that handheld. But what about if Steam is like, we're not going to make a Steam Deck, but we're going to work with Microsoft to make the next handheld, and they team up? Now that would get me interested in the handheld for Xbox.
Very, very important. Not like lock up kind of way, but their voice in the evolution of our platforms is so important.
So confirmed, Steam on the next Xbox, confirmed.
No answer. He's not saying, he's smiling, so it's got to be some truth to it.
This is an interesting one. So I had reached.
I like how Destin keeps straight face. He's like, so what? No Steam on Xbox. Feels like I can't say. Nice one, Destin.
Out about this one, and I'm working on a separate thing, but I'll just ask you directly. Would you ever consider dropping or adjusting the Xbox Series S parity clauses with the Xbox Series X, those sort of requirements? Some developers have brought up difficulty optimizing for the Series S. Can you tell us any more about plans there?
Yeah, in a way, I think about it in almost exactly the opposite way right now. With the rise of handheld PCs and even the introduction so far of the Switch 2, as developers, we're building on more device specs, from lower powered, because they're battery powered devices, all the way through things that plug into the wall. I actually think we have a real advantage, because we've been targeting S for quite a while, that our games have been built and they're portable across many different specs. So when we look at something like a Steam Deck or a ROG Ally or something, we've got this S version of the games that's more tailored to the device specs of a lot of devices that, frankly.
So what I hear there, Sarge says drop the potato. Listen to what he's saying, Sarge. Right? Listen to what he's saying. I've said something similar to the past where I said, if they come out with a handheld, this is why I said they shouldn't do a handheld. I said, because the handheld is going to be another parity problem with their systems, right? Because you have to make for the lowest common denominator, which is the S. So it has to run on the lowest tier stuff, right? When you go to Steam and you look at the recommended or low recommended the low specs and then the recommended specs, okay? Or the minimum specs and the recommended specs. That is what Xbox is right now. The minimum specs are Series S. And then the recommended specs are the X. And I said if they put in a handheld device, that would be another one that it would have to run on that device. And I never thought about it. What he just said was that the S is that handheld device. So because it runs on the S, it will run on that device. So basically what they've done the last 4 years is made games that they know will run on the next handheld device because it's got basically the same type of processing power as the S.
Are getting introduced right now. And I think that helps us. And frankly, the scalability of engines today allows them to scale from ray trace enabled multi-$1,000 graphics card on desktop PCs, all the way through a handheld battery powered device. So for me, S has been helpful in our portfolio. And I'm playing Indiana Jones on the S and it looks great. So like it's definitely capable of playing current gen.
I tried it on the S. It does look good. It does look good on the S. Obviously, it doesn't look as good on the X or as the X, but for people that only have the S, it plays. It looks great. They would never know the difference.
Generation games in a great way, but most of your games that are going to be out there are going to be supporting these different devices. And the S spec of what it is actually maps pretty well to the devices that we're seeing introduced right now.
So basically, they've been testing a handheld device with consoles for the last 4 years. And that's why the S exists. I don't know if that's what they had planned for the very beginning, but very interesting.
So I think it actually is an important design point for teams going forward, that kind of power performance mix that you see in the Series S.
Yeah, it is close to the Steam Deck. Close. But yeah, and the Steam... Well, anyway, I don't mean to go crazy there. Let's talk about the AA. The AA. I had the pleasure of producing one of the dev directs for... Or not dev directs, the indie showcase for Xbox on the IGN side. How are you going to focus on AA games and indie developers in the coming years?
We're going to continue to invest in the market. We obviously do a lot of, I'll call it kind of buying of content, investing in the market through Game Pass, which has been...
I was going to say, they're not holding off independent developers. They're paying the independent developers to put them on Game Pass, and they're still able to go play and put their content on other platforms. So it helps the smaller developers out because then they're not worried about what the game sales are because Microsoft is ponying up some of the majority, if not all, of the bill to come onto Game Pass.
Been a good thing for us. I think it has us probably putting as much development funding into that space as any gaming company in the world.
And he just said it, right? They're basically paying, right? I'm going to rewind that for a second. They're basically paying the full funding of that independent developer than anybody else that if they were developing it for that console. Listen to them again.
Which has been a good thing for us. I think it has us probably putting as much development funding into that space as any gaming company in the world.
Right? So putting it there, maybe they're not paying it completely full, but they're putting enough in there that basically if I was an independent developer and I went towards a company, they're putting as much money into them as if they were just making exclusive, but they're letting them go everywhere.
And I'm proud of that work that we do. But that's obviously just the Game Pass portfolio. So we want all games to be successful. We're trying to do more and more on the platform to showcase, because what we hear from the audience is there's a lot of games right now, and discovery, regardless of where you are, whether you're on PC, on Xbox console, like just how you get discovery for your games.
That's going to be a problem no matter what. We've talked about this in the past as well. There's just way too many games, right? You would spend more time just scrolling to find what game it is. Look at when you go to Netflix or any other kind of streaming service for media when you're trying to watch a show, or even looking for videos on YouTube. Just a wall of just thumbnails, and you're trying to figure out what should I watch. And by the time you figure it out, like 20 minutes have passed and you've lost on what you should watch.
We've done some things to help spotlight great games that launch on our platform and call it the indie AA space, giving them unique marketing on the platform, in the dash and on the Xbox app on PC so that they see the light of day. We take feedback, like we've had feedback about our tools and our ingestion and like how it works to get games into our storefront. And it's been great feedback as we continue to evolve the back end for those teams. And just spotlight when great games are out, regardless of the team size. But it's critical for our industry that it doesn't become just around multiple $100 million video games. Like, it would just choke off such a creative outlet that we get. It was great seeing Balatro like up for Game of the Year at some places, and you want that. I don't know if we call that AA, but I'll just say games that aren't AAA budget with AAA size teams. And we're going to continue, whether it's through Game Pass or spotlighting in our dash, to ensure that those teams see the light of day and get discovered on a game is a game. Like, we want games on Xbox to be seen for their quality, not the.
And Redfall enters the room. Hey, there's that skid mark in your underwear. Redfall's in the room. You want quality stuff, but you put out Redfall, which always makes me wonder, is the next game that you put out going to be at full quality?
The team size behind the games.
And again, this is not a Microsoft thing. This is an industry problem across the board, where games come out incomplete and not finished in some way, shape, or form, and they push it out before it's done.
Your Dev Direct showed off a stacked couple of months. You have Ninja Gaiden now. You have Ninja Gaiden 4 coming this fall. You have South of Midnight on the way. Avowed coming. Doom: The Dark Ages. And that covers you through...
You got like 6 or 7 games through May
15th, and the one fall release. Do you have more coming to reveal at a later date?
We do.
We do, but we're waiting for Grand Theft Auto. We're waiting for Rockstar to make an announcement before we make announcements of anything.
And I feel so good about the portfolio of where it is. I mean, it's allowed us to do some things. You know this, like we moved Avowed out of 24. Yes, like we can always use more time on a game, but we also knew, like, we had Call of Duty and we had Black Ops, and it was Call of Duty and Indiana Jones, and like
right, Jax? That's actually a pretty good. That's a good statement, right? This should be the last time he has to explain the strategy. You're either in or you're out, right? I don't understand the people that are still confused about what they're doing, right? This basically has. I mean, he said it a year ago, but now this is what he's saying, and if people are still confused, there's no helping those people.
Their room. We want to give Avowed room. So as we look forward, right, it's been nice to be able to give some teams time because the way the portfolio's lining up to make sure we get the right level of time for the teams to evolve their creative ideas. And I know in some cases I hear from the community that maybe we announced some things too early. I want to hear about State of Decay. I want to hear about Everwild.
I don't want to hear shit until it's ready. I don't want to hear anything about your games unless they're almost done. Almost done, meaning you announce Doom, it comes out in May. That's 4 months, right? Like, it's done, and when it comes out, it's working, not waiting 8 months, 10 months, 12 months.
I want to hear about Contraband. Like, I have the list.
I forgot about Contraband.
But I'll say that on the positive side, I take that feedback and I get it. On the positive side, this is allowing us to take more time on the games because the portfolio is rich and it's deep. For Game Pass players, they're getting a great flow of great games. If you like to buy your games, they're all available, obviously, to buy. You can stream, they're play anywhere. Like, go play.
Like, how many times he has to repeat it, though, Jones, right? Jones is like, they will understand eventually, right? Right? It's like that insert the meme with Padme talking to Anakin.
Them. But we're in a good position that it's allowing us to.
Jack says Star Wars Outlaws wasn't done, 30. You powered through that. Yeah, no, it wasn't done. I enjoyed it, but I would have enjoyed it more if it was a complete game.
To kind of tune the portfolio. And also, like I said, a mix of single player, multiplayer games. I want to be able to invest in different genres. It's not all about one thing. It's about making sure whether you love Flight Sim or you love Aura.
Flight Sim's another one, right? Flight Sim came out. It was broke, man. Flight Sim on console was broke. Okay? You can't do that. You can't release a game like that. And I understand they don't care because they're like, oh, it's no big. I have a question. I just noticed this behind his head. Is this the handheld? behind his head, or is that something else? Is this the handheld behind his head?
Or it's Towerborn, or it's Indiana Jones. Like, I want to make sure there's not all players play all games. We all have our favorite genres that we love. And I want to make sure our lineup just has something for everybody.
Last one for you. I'm looking at the timeline over the next 10 years for Xbox and realizing you'll be at retirement age in the United States in about the next 10 years. So
he's only 54? Man.
What do you hope Xbox becomes over that period of time?
Man, that kind of like got him out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, he asked him about retirement. He's like, damn, am I going to retire?
The thing that drives me, there's two things that really drive me. One is more industry, where I have a fundamental belief that gaming is a good thing for the planet, that people coming together with interactive entertainment, talking about the stories that are told, collaborating, cooperating in games. I mentioned I'm playing through Gears and just what an awesome time it is. Some of my best friendships have been built that way. So I want gaming to continue to grow, because I do think it's just a fundamentally important part of entertainment. I think it's better than any other form of entertainment. Yes, I'm biased, but I just love the way it builds community and bring things together. There's always things we should be careful of as an industry and how we learn, but I have a fundamental belief there. So then when I go to Xbox, I want us to be part of that. I don't want us to fall into, we do tomorrow what we did yesterday because it's what we've always done.
I like that, what he just said, right? I said it earlier, right? Everyone thinks that the console is because that's traditional and it's like, this is the game made for this console and that's what it is. What he just said is perfect, right? We're not just doing it because you do it, right? Because that's just the way it's done. Like, why? Here, I'm going to rewind that again.
Other form of entertainment, yes, I'm biased, but I just love the way it builds community and bring things together. There's always things we should be careful of as an industry and how we learn, but I have a fundamental belief there. So then when I go to Xbox, I want us to be part of that. I don't want us to fall into, we do tomorrow what we did yesterday because it's what we've always done. Right. I don't want us to be afraid to innovate. Some of the things will work great.
Right, just be stale. Well, that's what we do. Like, well, why do you do it that way when there's an easier way to do it or a different way to do it?
Some of them won't, but let's stay nimble, whether it was back compat, which we weren't supposed to do because it was going to hurt game sales on the next gen, whether, it's even like going back to live, but I think about whether it's Game Pass and whether that's a good thing. I remember the debates around whether we should allow free to play on console and should subsidized hardware have free games, and that'll be but like, let's make sure that we stay as a team that's willing to take risks, learn from the things that work and from the things that don't work, and that our teams feel like they can take those risks and be rewarded. We're not perfect there, but it's something I aspire for with the teams. And like, if I could enable anything in my time here, it would be that we continue to innovate, not be defined by what was yesterday, but looking forward to what creators and players want tomorrow.
Bill, that was a really great answer. Thank you.
I didn't think about it beforehand.
Yeah. Well, I was just looking at the timeline, realizing that, Shuhei Yoshida just retired and yeah, maybe it's
good friend of mine. Congrats to him. Like, his role in this industry, Ted Price.
Yeah, Ted Price.
I exchanged some
Ted Price is an Insomniac, right?
Mail with Ted. We did Sunset Overdrive with him in the role that he's played with independent developers. David Haddad from Warner Brothers. Like, it's it's always a turnover, but it's good. With every move on for any of us, it means more new voices and new perspectives in this industry, and I think it can continue to evolve and grow.
Xbox is going to have a hell of a time trying to fill his shoes when he leaves. If you liked him or not, what he's done for Xbox and the brand, from what it was, the disaster he got handed it to what it is today. Like, you better hope someone's as diehard and as a fan of gaming as this man is as a CEO, because you can have CEOs come in that all they think about is the bottom line. This dude's playing games all the time you guys think he's sick? I don't think he's sick. Okay. I think he was fat and obese before, because he was traveling a lot and doing stuff, and now he's thinned out. I think he looks healthy as hell. I think we think he looks sick because you saw how fat he was, okay? And now he lost weight, so he looks kind of weird, okay? Destin used to be big. Destin lost weight. He looks much better now. He's healthy.
Well, thank you so much for making time to chat with me today. It has been an absolute pleasure, and thanks for watching. When can we hear next from Xbox? What social platforms do you want to plug?
No, I don't want to do that. I was going to say something else. I was going to say congrats to you. Like what you're doing and kind of going off, doing your own thing. I've always appreciated your voice. And the last time you and I were on was maybe Gamescom in a sweaty like booth somewhere where we had a discussion. But I've always appreciated your point of view in the industry. It's brave, the step that I love the way you talked about, leaving your dream job. But I think it's the same thing. Like you can't be.
I think it's 100% better that Destin left IGN, right? I like Destin. Okay, I've met him a couple times at conventions and stuff. I don't know if he remembers or whatnot. We had some conversations. I used to go in his stream when he first started streaming on Twitch. Okay, I don't always agree with what his takes are. A lot of his takes are not in line with mine. But at the same time, dropping IGN, I think, is the best thing for him.
Be defined by what you did yesterday, and the role that you play in the industry is an important one. And kudos to you for being brave and trying something new. And I really wish you the best in all of that, because I think you're an important voice.
Thank you so much. I'll keep trying to be better. And I appreciate
all
it.
of us.
All right, I'll cut there and do the outro. Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, it was okay.
It was good. It was great. Thank you so much to Phil Spencer for sitting down and answering questions from patrons and YouTube members, and a few of my own too. If you want to support this channel, you can do so very easily by hitting that subscribe button, hitting that bell, or hitting that like button when content goes live. But a very special shout out to the patron members who support at the highest tier: Christopher Eddy, Inner Machine, Phil Roney, Savage 03, Spingetter 889, and the Scarecrow.
Yeah, that's a good video. So go give it a like. Give it a follow, give it a sub if you're not subbed to his channel. Good interview. Yeah, there's a lot there. There's definitely a lot there. Oh, did I leave Jax's thing up there? Yeah, I did. Let me see what you guys are saying. Robert Jones says Xbox lets you play Destiny 2 without having Game Pass Core, where you have to have PlayStation Plus to play most of Destiny 2 on PlayStation for some reason. I didn't know that. Al says my favorite is IG ignorant. So ignorant. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, look, you guys can hate on Phil and whatnot. I think he's probably the most straight shooter CEO that you'll ever get. Sure, he's got corporate speak, but at the same time, a lot of people get taken out of context or whatnot, and him as defending. I think last year he got put on blast because of the leaks, and then he had to come out and talk about games coming on the... Honestly, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But then again, I'm just a gamer, right? I don't care where I play the game. I just want to play the game. And my big thing is, I just want your game to work, man. I just want your game to work. I don't care what platform it's on. All right, let me go to Twitter here and see what's on Twitter before we take off. See what news has come in while we were talking about gaming news. If you guys like what we do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Actually, you know what? We'll do this song instead, right? We'll do this song instead. Okay. We do live streams, we do uploads, we do gameplay, we do a bunch of different stuff on this channel.
I got the content you love, you know it's right, so go ahead, don't be shy. Light up that like, one click, it's so easy to do. Support the crew and spread the view. That little thumbs up could change the game. So hit it now and make your raise. Smash that like, oh, don't delay. It's your ticket to
we'll have that play in the background as I'm scrolling through Twitter.
Join the team. Show some love for the dream off screen. Whether you're chilling, laughing, or deep in thought, that like button's just waiting to be caught. Share the moment, let's make it grow. Help the algorithm, let the good vibes flow. One tap, it's all it takes to boost the fun and up the stakes. Don't just watch, be part of the hype. Join the squad and smash that like. Smash that like, oh, don't delay. It's the fuel to keep us on our way. Smash that like.
Oh, I think we'll play that tonight. Control Strands. That's on Game Pass tonight. We might play that tonight.
Oh, it's your moment to shine. Be the reason this channel climbs. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hit it loud, hit it proud. Join the party, stand out in the crowd. It's time to play. Let's make magic in
Ubisoft internal memo says recent layoffs is due to more effective operating models.
So scroll no more, make it count. Every click adds up. No
Division 2 info on Twitter.
Let's start the show. Thank you, fam, for the love you show.
I don't see the Division stuff. I don't see that at all. Got Cyberpunk, Team Price. We got Phil Spencer comments on what I want hardware innovated to be a differentiator. Exactly what we just heard that, so they have articles about that now. It's in Discord. Okay. Oh, you sent me those things for the profit margins, Huda Papa? Okay. Hilly has a... Hold on. Hilly sent me a Game Pass Day 1 song. Hilly's gone down the rabbit hole here. He's been doing the music like I have. I haven't heard this. We're gonna listen to it. Here we go. Let me make it louder. Let's see what Hilly's got for us here.
I'm going to tell you a story about...
Is this a music video, Hilly?
It's coming. Just wait. Trust me, bro.
Phil Spencer, the game dispenser. When Sir is the game available. Day 1. Successful subscription business models. Why can't Microsoft name the console models? Best deal in gaming, even better on PC. Console peasant, don't worry, Game Pass is omnipresent. Console sales reach the impasse, market isn't growing. Play it day 1 on Game Pass, stop the market from slowing. Game Pass, say one, indie day 1. Anticipation, let's play it day 1. Game Pass is the party, just don't redefine first party. Phil Spencer is the game dispenser, and with a dream,
Hilly, do I have permission to run this in the morning before we go live? I'm making music videos to play in the morning. I love this.
Phil said I will bring the crowds, only with Game Pass, only day 1. Console sales reach the impasse, market isn't growing. Play it day 1 on Game Pass, stop the market from slowing. Game Pass, say one, indie day 1. Anticipation, let's play it day 1.
First proud Xbox Series S. Eerie sense we regress. Sticky mess on my Series S. Weary steps, this thing is bottlenecked.
Game Pass, say one, Halo day 1. Nobody wanted the Xbox One.
console sales reach the impasse, market isn't growing. Play it day one on Game Pass, stop the market from slowing. Game Pass, day one.
They're not going to do that, House. He just said he wasn't going to do that in the interview.
Let's play it day one. Day one.
There you go. There you go. That's fucking hilarious. I love stuff like that. That's the type of stuff I want for our music that we play. You gotta have some sort of shtick, you know what I'm saying? All right, let me go back to now that we got sidetracked here. All right, you sent me an Xbox data suggests that might have a better profit margin than PlayStation. That might have. Okay. This is back in September of 2023. Is this? I guess this is not current though, right? Tweaktown Microsoft shared that usually has confidential data about Xbox division sales and profit numbers. So let's break it down by this. For the first 9 months, 2022, which also runs from July 2022. Yeah, see, this is not current though. So what you're saying, sure. Yeah, this is from that leak stuff. Yeah, we've seen this. But we don't know what the current number is. So I'm not going to look at this. So your statement stands true for what this is back then, but we don't know what the current data is now. Let's see here. Where's the division stuff? Did you guys put it in the submitted stories? Oh, there it is. Got it. Because you put it in the Discord. Yeah, let's see. Message from Division 2 team. Greetings, agents. Our team is dedicated to continuing to build a future of Division 2. We have exciting updates in store, including a new season. We can't wait for you to play on February 25th. We know you're eagerly awaiting the release of the upcoming DLC to ensure the delivery of the best possible experience. We've decided to take a little extra time to refine it. Therefore, the DLC will not ship during year 6. Thank you for your patience. What will not ship during year 6? Is this year 6? Is 2025 year 6? So I'm confused. So the DLC, so they have an update, new season 25th next month. Is this year 6? Sorry, have they delayed it till the 2026 now? I'm confused. Start says fourth quarter numbers are in the works very soon. Yeah, it's like February 3rd or 5th. They're going to do it. Eclipse says, I'm working on a power metal song about the devs losing their job. I'm not that good of a writing lyrics, though, but I'm trying. Hey, man. I mean, just got to write and try it. And if you like it, post it. I mean, I saw the other one that you did. I liked it. Eclipse. So, Dustin, it's delayed till next year. Fantastic. And that was supposed to come out this year, but they delayed it 1 year. Amazing. Oh, man. The industry's in trouble. Let me see what else we got here. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, Eternal Strands we'll probably play tonight on stream. Check it out. It's an RPG that came out on Game Pass. It's out everywhere, I believe, but it's on Game Pass. We're going to try it tonight. 533 comments on this that was just posted at 10 a.m., so 2 hours ago. It says, just work on Division 3 already. Give up 5 XP right now for 2 weeks, 5,000. Always love the series, but load times on console are too much. Not even a little surprised. Yeah, the whole community is just, their tweets are, yeah, they're like, maybe it's time to move on to 3. Yeah, why not? Year 1, 2019. 2020, year 2. 21 was year 3. 22 was year 4. 23 was year 5. 24 was year 6. 25 is year 7. So I'm confused. Aren't we year 7? The game came out in 2019. No, 2019 was 0. I believe that's how that works, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, someone said that. Yeah, 2019 is considered 0 because I don't think it came out a full year. So they're not coming out until 2026, which means they could possibly come out in the February, or it could come out late in 2026. So technically, like 2 years. Yeah, the community's not very happy. That's all right. I'm done with it anyway. Enjoyed my time with it, but we're moved on. All right. Are we doing Halo this week? Yeah, Wednesday. You want to play on Wednesday? Last week you said you couldn't do it. We can do it on Wednesday. Oh, Wayfinder joins the fight today. Maybe we should play that instead. I don't know which one to play. Eclipse, you like Wayfinder, right? Just came out on console today. $22.49. It's on sale. Is it worth it, or should I do Eternal Strands? Should I get this for $22, or should I play Eternal Strands? Off the hard drive. Next, what's off the hard drive? Charge. What's off the hard drive? Nothing else. Ooh, Roadcraft gameplay trailer is here. Roadcraft.
Welcome to Roadcraft, a groundbreaking simulation of heavy machinery. Immerse yourself in vast, disaster-stricken environments, powered by a new advanced technology. Enjoy unparalleled interaction with your surroundings and the next level of real-time physics for elements like sand, water, and asphalt.
I'm all about
Step
this
into
game.
the boots of a frontline rebuilder. Deployed across the globe's most devastated regions, you and a specialized reconstruction team will revive shattered industries and restore hope where it's needed most. Explore 8 massive maps, each spanning over 4 kilometers square, that transport you all around the world. From treacherous mountains and dense forests to unforgiving deserts, every region is packed with critical missions and optional contracts. Earn funds and experience to expand your fleet, unlock cutting-edge machinery, and take on even greater challenges. Your skills and your vehicles are the only thing standing between ruin and recovery.
I am all about this game right now. This is exactly what I wanted from SnowRunners.
Floods, earthquakes, sandstorms. Every disaster brings unimaginable tests of skill and ingenuity.
Reach remote areas and assess the damage with your scout and its exploration devices. Clear your path with bulldozers equipped with precision graders. Remove debris manually or in automatic mode, paving the way forward. Cranes can remove damaged infrastructure and replace it with freshly crafted components. Got a ruptured pipeline? Collect scattered resources, recycle them, and craft brand new parts at your facilities. Take charge as the Chief of Operations, where you'll manage your own convoys, coordinate their tasks, and automate processes to maximize their efficiency. Use precision waypointing to streamline logistics between factories and ensure the seamless flow of essential resources like timber, steel, and concrete.
So it's a management game as well. This is fantastic.
Make sure no obstacle stands in the way of your plans. When roads fail, craft your own. Gather your road building fleet. Lay sand or asphalt to forge new paths.
There you go, Sarge. Look, it's exactly what you were asking for. You can build your roads and repair the roads so it's easier to travel.
Turning impassable terrain into reliable routes. Construct vital crossings using harvested timber or reinforced concrete to reconnect isolated areas. As you progress, unlock advanced machinery for increasingly intricate jobs. Electrify blackout zones with your cable layer. Refill your trucks on site with a mobile quarry and tackle challenges your way. Every vehicle brings a new solution to the table. Rebuilding doesn't have to be a solo
It's co-op. Oh, yeah, great. This is fantastic.
mission. Roadcraft offers up to 4-player co-op, letting you divide tasks.
You know it's going to crash left and right, right? We all know this is going to at least crash 15 times on stream.
Take on side quests, or join forces to accomplish major goals. Experiment, collaborate, and make use of the game's physics engine to explore every creative solution, even the boldest ones.
He literally filled up that whole bridge. That's crazy. Look how deep that was.
To explore every creative solution,
Look how deep that is.
even the boldest ones. In the face of chaos, your leadership brings hope. The world won't rebuild itself, so join us on the site to set things right. Get behind the wheel, take control, and reshape the aftermath.
When's this come out? Come on, soon. Soon.
One task at a time.
Hey, May 20th. That's like around my birthday. Fantastic.
Pre-order Roadcraft now
You need to get a better PC. This comes out. You know you want to upgrade. I don't have the money for that.
on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC.
It's on Xbox. This is fantastic. This is what we wanted. SnowRunners. SnowRunners is one of my favorite games. I love SnowRunners. Okay. Now Sarge used to yell and bitch and moan. He's like, "What the fuck? Why are the roads this way? Why can't we rebuild roads?" There you go. There you go. Oh, yeah. Teach men to be men. Let's go. Yeah, you can actually build roads and stuff now. I like how there was like where you can connect your businesses, so you operate the vehicles, or you can let your AI take it, so it's like an ant colony type of thing. So you but to buy the trucks, then they automatically do the things and they start sending the supplies over. That's cool. I mean, that might be my game of the year. I love stuff like that. Electronic Arts. What is this? Oh, this is that new co-op game. Split Fiction. When does this come out? March 6th. Jesus. There's a lot of stuff happening, huh? Lots of games coming out. Tomb Raider, Nintendo Switch. February 14th. Tomb Raiders 4, 5, and 6 remastered launching on the Switch. Oh, absolutely, Clips. Yeah, these games sell. I know a lot of people look at it and say there's no way like they would play it. It's a huge, huge flight sim, farm sim, these types of games, Euro truck simulator and stuff like that. What else we got here? What else we got? I mean, they just announced that. That's exciting. Didn't know that was coming out. Big Nintendo Switch deal right now. It says Switch sale includes deals on Mario, Kirby, and more. If you're looking for some sales on Switch games, Nintendo has today has invited fans from across the world to get the hands-on with the Nintendo Switch 2 ahead of release. So we're going to hear some more news about the Switch 2 in the next couple days. New World has an event going on between February 4th and February 24th. I think that does it. Yeah, 24 minutes ago, the Roadcraft game. All right, let's see what else. But yeah, Wayfinder's crossplay. So if you do get it, I'll play with you. Okay, we might get that. Eternal Strand though looks pretty good. Maybe we'll play that and hold off on Wayfinder. Gotta get the games out early. GTA 6 clock is ticking. I mean, everyone, the industry thinks so, Titan. I don't know. Krebsy thinks it's October 23rd. I think that's what he's been saying. Sometime in October. I think in March or April, we do get a trailer of some sort. Which game, Dustin? The Roadcraft game? We're all over that game. I'm being dead serious. I don't know if people think I'm joking. I love that type of. I love Saber games where they work on the Mud Runners, Snow Runners. Expedition wasn't very good. I'll be honest with you. Expedition was lackluster, but the Roadcraft one, when they showed it at the Game Awards, I was like, "Yo!" I was like, "Where's that?" All right, that's going to do it for us today. We'll be back tonight playing some video games tonight. I was actually thinking about, I'm trying to play ball with YouTube, right? And I think my channel, little housekeeping before I send off here. I think what I might do is we'll play games on the channel like we've been doing. But then after the live stream, I might just remove the gameplay completely from my channel and then upload it on 30 and Still Gaming. And the reason for that is, yeah, I lose the viewership and stuff that happened. But I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to clean the algorithm in my YouTube channel to just keep it entertainment, right? Even though we talk about video games and whatnot. But the daily grind, the uploads that we do from the daily grind, the podcast, I think I'm going to try to keep it to that and move the gameplay off of this channel and move it over to 30 and Still Gaming. So nothing changes on your end over here. I'm just it'll be more like a back catalog of those games. So if you want to go watch the gameplay that we've done, we'll just upload it to the other channel. I think that's what I'm going to do moving forward, because it just seems like the algorithm doesn't know what to do, right? Certain videos I do get a nice bump. Other ones, not so much. Are you showing Roadcraft to your son? Because he's also going to wander and build anything. I'm going to lose my mind. Yeah, well, when I get that game, he'll play it for sure, Sarge. For sure, he'll play it. So that's it. We'll be back tonight, like 8 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done it already. Helps us out. We're trying to get to 5,000 subs this year. We're on our way. We're getting more subscribers every single day, so I do appreciate that. Yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, afternoon, or evening, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Shine, rise and shine, the daily grind is here on time. With gaming news and fun galore, we'll chat and entertain once more. The coffee's hot, the mic is on. Jump in the chat, let's have some fun. From pixels small to stories grand, we bring the magic to your hand. We're nitty tuned in daily, don't you miss entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Controller ready, headset too, we've got the updates just for you. From late night streams to morning plays, we cover gaming all the ways. Controller ready, headset too, we've got the updates just for you. From late night streams to morning plays, we cover gaming all the ways. Lots of news on winning blend, the show with you, our dearest friend. Comments rolling, chats alive, the daily grind, 5-star vibe. Tune in daily, don't you miss entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning fix. Good morning, sunshine, rise and shine. The daily grind is here on time. With gaming news and fun galore, we'll chat and entertain once more. The coffee's hot, the mic is on. Jump in the chat, let's have some fun. From pixels small to stories grand, we bring the magic to your hand. Tune in daily, don't you miss entertainment wrapped in bliss. From new releases, tips and tricks, the daily grind, your morning